Let's roll. This is Countercharge, your podcast for ranks, flanks, and kings of war. Join your hosts as they delve into the world of Panithor and bring you worldwide coverage of all things Kings of War.
Welcome to Countercharge. I'm Rob Fanoff. In this episode, we'll share a collection of recordings taken on Saturday at Adepticon 2025. So go find a very comfy chair, sit back, and enjoy. All right, we're recording it Saturday morning before the epic two-day Adepticlash kicks on. Or kicks off, I should say, not on.
Welcome to the morning hour.
That's right. I don't know about you guys. We're only day, what is this, day 3? Start of day 3?
Yeah, it depends how you count.
Depends on when you.
Well, yeah, because Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so maybe it's day 4.
I'd say day 4.
Some people count Wednesday as day 0.
Yeah, I mean, we were here Tuesday, so.
Oh my God, I don't.
It's all relative.
I'm just like, ugh.
It's all relative.
So let's start with Mr. Tyler Schultz from Dread Path Zone, who will, as I've been told, make more content at some point.
Yeah,
for all the adoring fans out there.
At some point.
You played Dead Zone yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Let me just ask you this: was it as long for you as it felt for me watching you guys?
No, it wasn't long. We just started late, but games went by.
3 to midnight. Is that when you got to?
We got done at like 11:15.
Oh,
like, and we started like an hour late or something. So that's about what I expected.
And who ran the event?
John. He's a
John
Pathfinder.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you his last name. He's got a nice mustache, and he's about to get killed by Keith Randall.
Yeah.
And today.
Yeah, in Kings.
That was his first tournament running. So.
Yeah.
Oh, he did a great job then. So who ended up? Well, let's start with you. What did you take?
I took my Sala Marauders, which are the Marauders, but basically body
trying to win the best painted, right? That's what you were trying to do?
I just like putting like my favorite stuff on the field. Like, I don't think I was going for like.
So you're the opposite of Travis.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be the most like competitive thing in the world. I don't treat Dead Zone all that seriously in like a good way. Like, it's just a fun game that's a lot of fun, and like a tournament is just an excuse to guarantee 4 games. So I had a great time. I've never thought that Marauders are like a top tier Dead Zone army. Like, I don't think there's like they're not bad at anything, but they're not like incredible at anything either. Like, you're not going to get blown away like, oh my God, this thing is so good. It's like, yeah, it's pretty good.
That's
like
awesome.
Across the board. So it was good. I went I had 2 wins, a loss at the end, and then I had a tie, which this is a rule I didn't even know, but basically if both players get up to the required 20 victory points, like if they both get it in the last round, it counts as a tie. Which kind of makes sense because you both kind of win, and like that was the closest game. So it doesn't matter who went
first.
Yeah, it was the closest game. I mean, he had 22, I had 21 at the end of the game, and it was absolute tooth and nail, just like scrap. It was fun. It was against a Forge Father, like double hammer Thorgrim list. Like, it was just a boatload of those guys. So I had to really, really earn those kills and stuff, which. Also, for this tournament, it's kind of weird too because the kills you just do by model count.
So not by how much they're worth or how big they are.
Right. So it's like it's really, really hard to kill Forge Fathers, but then it counts the exact same as like killing a zombie.
Well, it's funny because that just kind of.
So it's like at the end of the game, it's like, oh, I killed 8 things, and you're like, yeah, I had to work my ass off to kill those 8 things, and then like. You know, you can also just go against some like cheap fodder rats and be like, yeah, I killed 11 things, and like I just looked at them and they died.
Wonder, like we've always talked about, like the scoring system can affect the type of army you bring, and like in that scenario, you'd be better off playing very hard, sturdy elite stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you care, but again, I just bring stuff I like the look of and I play.
You're just there to have fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Smile. Well, let's throw it over to Travis.
Morning, sir.
Morning. So, you haven't really been playing this weekend.
Nope, just firefighting the first day, and nope, we're streaming.
So if you only played one event, you must have won it, right?
Nope, 3-1 though.
Who won it?
Adam Ballard.
Yeah. I'm going to be sick.
Yep, already am.
Well, from your perspective, how was the process of setting up and getting to this point?
I'd say I feel like it all went well, pretty good.
You guys took forever to get that stream table up. There was like some weird hiccups, but they got it.
Yeah.
They ironed it out yesterday.
A lot of that revolves around that Wi-Fi,
Yeah, though.
the connectivity and
Weird internet.
a new
stuff.
place. We'll have to work out the kinks, but I mean, it hopefully works today. Guess we
Well, and
won't
you guys
know
did all the
till-
troubleshooting yesterday, so today should be pretty smooth
Right,
sailing,
yeah.
in theory.
But
He just
Tyler
jinxed you.
jinxed you. I know. That's why I was.
Looks like the pairings tournament went pretty well.
Yeah,
It looks like you were having pretty good time, huh?
Yeah, a lot of pairings events in my life, and first of all, it's that you match a different partner every turn. You get a new partner. The other thing is like they didn't put any restrictions. Like most tournaments are like you can't take legendary, you can't take unique. They try to like limit it. So we got to play like against double nom nom. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. There's a lot of
There was some weird combos that were able to happen. You had command dice allowed. Everybody's abilities worked on everybody else because you couldn't plan who your partner was.
Yeah.
But the good news about that is that because you couldn't plan, like even if you brought filth it's just dumb luck if you
Yep.
match up with someone that has synergy. Because like in some of my games, like the armies really weren't designed to work together, so we had to do the best we can. And in other games,
I mean, none of them were designed, but some of them play well.
well, like
together.
Kenny Law in the last game, like I have this like grindy list that can maybe do some stuff and hit strategically where I need to hit, and he's just got this wall of regen and defense 6.
Speaking of grindy, I was going to say, here's Kyle Poole, who brought the grindiest.
That's right. Well, let's chime in, Kyle. What
Thanks,
you think of this?
Adam.
Adam Ballard makes good lists. Also, thanks, Adam Ballard.
Also, there's reasons that like Empire Dust doesn't get to combo with other stuff. Because
Yes.
when the Soul Snare starts like healing things that don't
Not
deserve it,
The top table right was Iron Guard, defense, an entirely defense 6 dwarf list with my defense 5 and
Was
6
that Eric
EOD.
Greiner? Was it? Yeah.
So you got,
Or no, I had
I was gonna say that was earlier in the day, right?
Eric was early in the day. So anytime I partnered with dwarves, I won, and anytime I didn't, I drew.
It's funny,
pretty simple.
but it was fun. Like,
But me and Nate fun
the
around.
Nagiri giving 4+ regen to Immortal Guard,
Yeah, that's
and then by the way, we can re-roll those 4+ regen.
Pretty good.
Very durable. You can't kill stuff sometimes, but they're very durable.
sounds like a fun tournament. It sounds like something you can't
It was-
take too
it was super
seriously
fun.
and just fun.
Yeah,
It was super
sounds a
fun.
lot like how I treat Dead Zone.
It was
Taking 5 wounds off Iron Guard is just a way to wet your opponent's face, just like rain.
yeah. I never thought about that, but the Snow Snare doing defense 6 is dirty, dude.
Iron Resolve on Shobik, Soul Snare, access to heal.
Yeah.
It was just
Dirty.
And then those things don't die, so then all the surge and the mummy troops are like, is it a flank? I'll take that flank. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't roll for but I did
you don't
good
kill
jobs.
it in one go.
You guys will have to excuse me. I'm gonna go vomit all this defense 6 regen talk.
Yeah.
It's big talk from
Also, you guys fluffing Adam Ballard about his list right away.
Oh, he knows we
I
don't
can't
like him.
handle
Well,
this.
he knows. It's
He
not
knows we
like-
I
don't
can't handle this.
So, Travis, what else? What do you got planned for today? You're gonna be streaming.
We're running the tournament and streaming, and yep,
I don't think I've asked you this question. What do you think of the new venue?
I like it. I'm not gonna lie.
You're not gonna lie. Well, you're from Omaha. You're not.
I know I don't ever lie, so I'm not gonna lie that
Maybe
I
to your
like
wife,
it.
but not to us.
Oh no lying to the wife. The kids, maybe, but not the wife. But yeah, no, I think the space of it's nice. I mean, we're all here. I don't feel like we're running into each other all. You walk out your hall door and you're running into everybody. I feel like even walking around the vendor hall, it didn't feel as bad. Like getting places and around, unless you're with Tyler, then he just wanders off every 10 seconds. But
You need to get him one of them leashes that you put on.
and I end up having to leave him behind to buy his own stuff.
Hey, I saw a model that I had to get.
Yep, I know. I like it, honestly. I mean, it's going to be an adjustment trying to figure out, where the food's at, where, everything's at, doors. I mean,
My favorite thing about this venue is the surrounding area is actually a surrounding area, and it's not just like drainage ditches and then like a one sports bar that gets overpacked, because that's how
parking
Schaumburg
lot.
was. Yeah, it was basically just a sea of like parked cars and then like drainage ditches, and then you had nowhere to go.
Really close proximity, or very close to all the hotels, a lot of great restaurants, all within like I left my hotel at like 6:55 or something, and I look and I'm in here and it's like 7:05. It's like faster here for me walking than in Schaumburg, wherever we were. We have to drive, and there's no parking issues. We're over at the hotel, and then we just walk over and we just walk back. And I guess it's like if you were
Well, and like yesterday, it was raining in the morning, and I didn't even know because you just walk on the sky bridge.
well, that's crazy too. Like in these, I
La-di-da.
guess it's common in Minnesota, but I didn't know Milwaukee had the same thing where like the downtown's all connected by skyways.
Well, because it's horrendous in the winter.
I can imagine.
It's like unlivable in the winter. So
Unbearable.
Now, Rob,
need 'em.
this is the first time that all the stuff's been in one room, right?
For Mantic?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think there
because
was.
we've been in here and it's been full.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that historically, Mantic's had their own room, but they've had to share it because it's big. And then we're in this business like, hey, Rob, can you move the podcast stuff down there? Can you slide the tables over here? It's like we just set up and then that's it. We're done. We're not messing around.
yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons. Obviously, the space is great. The room is great. That's awesome. You do get a lot less foot traffic.
Well, the
so, like,
location of the room
if you want foot traffic, like it's if you didn't know the big Kings of War game is over here, it's very unlikely that you would end up over here to go see the spectacle of it because it's not
Yeah,
like
we're-
in someone's sight line. Like
We're like
that would be
the corner
the
down a hallway.
that would be the
we're off
negative.
the beaten path.
Yeah, we're kind of the bastard child right now.
But
a little bit.
But it
or
has
we
to-
could say we're our an exclusive club all to ourselves, and we don't have to
but also
I don't know.
we have our own bathrooms. So that's nice. And you don't have
It's
to,
true that
You don't have to. You don't have to.
No,
you know,
it's great. I mean,
use the
like I said, there's
bathroom.
trade-offs. Obviously, it's like you either take the privacy and don't get the foot traffic, or you get foot traffic, but then like
then you have to share.
you
that
have foot
with the
traffic.
public.
Yeah, exactly.
We just
So
need to make sure Blake and Kyle today are down there. Like, hey guys, go check out the room. Make sure the people working the booth. Make sure that they're pushing people up there. Go check.
Well,
it out.
I've already played enough Kings of War for the weekend.
dude, you're an animal. You're an absolute monster.
What are you on? Like game 12?
I have played. If you count the pairings, I'm on game 6. I came to Adepticon to play games, dude. Not
Well, no,
watch nerds sit in
no.
chairs.
So that's deceiving. No, it's
thought you
game
came to-
6 plus standing by the big giant
yeah.
table and
That's-
breathing Kings of War for like long hours at a time. So it's like quote games end
Yeah.
quote.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like,
but like you've also like monitored literally just staring at Kings of War for
It also
hours.
looked like there's a lot more people at the big games this year.
We had
First day was
11
great. Yeah.
for session
That
1.
was gross.
We had 8
That's
for
awesome.
session 2, and then day 2 we still had 4 and 2 with the bad weather and with some rescheduling and some issues of overlapping events.
My favorite thing is that most of the players out there are brand new, and then
Well, except for
Kyle
Andy
would walk
Sherman.
out to me. He'd walk out and be like, "Yeah, it's turn 1. They already know what they're doing." I'm just like standing there.
Yeah.
Yep. we had a total of 3
that's awesome.
people who have ever played in the big game and 1 who had played Kings. Everyone else was absolute noob, and it was fantastic. And by turn 4, they still don't need your help. It's and one of those guys was a board game player who'd never war gamed, and he goes, "I think I get it."
Yeah.
And you keep the rules simple out there, right? Everyone's a hero. It's not a abyssal half-breed or an Efreet. Sometimes rules don't exist, like shambling and big shield. You just here's a stat card and go.
You dumb it down a little bit.
Ain't no
to
one
make the
got
game
time for
movie.
that.
You got to speed it up.
I got 5 hours and half of it spent making sure they know the rules, and the other half is spent making sure nobody has any questions.
Yep.
That's about
Makes
it.
sense.
And then Midnight Kings. I noticed you didn't join me for Midnight Kings, Tyler and Travis.
I
Were you
watched
playing
it midnight.
Josh?
Hey, I
So
didn't
today I
finish.
played
I didn't finish
here.
Dead Zone till almost midnight. So
Yeah, today we did today. Last night I played Josh. Yeah, gave his Twilight Ken a taste of
Proper
awkward
spanking.
goblins.
goblin filth.
It was a fun game, but we had to play quick anyways, and it worked out well because we hit a point on turn 4 where it was impossible for him to recover.
Your dice were bonkers too.
So were his, but that was a game
Oh,
of
dude,
like
he had two
11.
double-
I mean, you as in you all, like
Yeah.
both
Yeah,
of you.
that
That whole
table.
game was just boxcars and snakes. There was no in between. We had
Sounds
no
like a board
average.
game for kids.
Yep,
Yeah.
boxcars
Boxcars
and
and
snakes.
I mean, it was 2 kids playing, so let's be honest.
And then the night before, I got a game against Kyle Ricci. And then I did. John Carter did a demo, and then I did a demo.
Yeah,
Couple
you're
500 point
a mad
plays.
lad. Mad lad.
I'm here to
Crazy.
play Kings. I'm not here to watch Rob.
No. Travis, did you get to the event hall and maybe get some stuff and buy some stuff?
Yeah, I got to look around. I didn't get to buy anything. I had
Your
to
wife
go
have you on a short
babysit
leash?
Ronnie. No,
Oh, yeah.
I had to get Ronnie out of here. He was already running late. He was doing his sales pitch at the booth, and so Kyle and Blake had to get me to take him back here so he could say his goodbyes, and then we had to yank him out of here. So,
Funny. Yeah.
but no, I plan on hitting that up off and on a day if I get a free hour.
Yeah, I'm hoping
launch,
like
or-
we get. I
know.
mean, I don't want to lose, but like if we get done quick and
If you get your ass kicked.
well, that happened last year.
Hopefully,
2
I mean,
years
if we
ago.
can stay on time.
Dr.
and
Nova
get
game,
everything
put me back in the
done.
chair, knock me out, hour, and I'm out.
Who's the ogre player who asked when we were judging paint because he knows he's going to lose quickly, and his own words, I'm going to lose quick enough that I can paint between rounds.
Oh,
The
that's
judges get-
John. He's the guy who did the
that John?
Dead Zone tournament. Yeah, he's about to. It's so funny going into
Like
the
Keith Randall, he's the one.
going into the tournament. He's like, You know, I don't play a lot of kings, but as long as I don't play against like elves or like a really experienced player, I should do all right. And then he draws Keith Randall.
Did you tell him? Maybe he doesn't know him. Did you
Oh no, he definitely knows. Everyone told him because he said that as an out loud comment, and then like manifested Keith Randall to
totally.
yeah.
So what he did?
The wicked ones were like, "Hey yo."
He's been painting these models in between rounds. So last night at like midnight, he goes, "When's the paint judging?" And we said after day one, everyone's going to set up.
Like,
and he goes, if I just keep losing fast enough, I can finish painting.
That's funny.
Well, Keith game might go pretty quick. So
Yeah.
It might.
I told him exactly what's going to happen against Keith. The game's going to feel like a draw. He's going to think he's into it. And then right around turn 3 or 4, he's going to make a mistake that he doesn't see. And Keith's going to take a deep breath, put his hands on his hips, and he's going to pot belly ponder for about 4 minutes. And then he's going to table his ass.
And we've all been there.
we've all seen it and been there. Yes, the Keith special.
But I told him, I was like, you're going to feel like you got to draw. And then you up, and it's over.
Exactly. That's funny. Should be a good day. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We started, dice will drop at 9.
9. Yep, we already got pairings figured out. Tables. I guess got to finish setting that
I guess
up.
we just got to wait and see if everybody make sure we shows
And then hopefully everyone, hopefully.
we got like 54, I think, right?
52. We had a couple drops ahead of time.
Shame on. Do we want shame on?
happens.
Who was it?
Honestly, I don't remember who it was, but I know there was a couple drops.
Sometimes stuff happens, right?
Yeah, and most of it was
Duvall,
just
he's here.
Who?
Jeremy Duvall.
Jeremy made it.
Yeah.
Blake almost didn't make it with an army.
He's here, but he's not here
Yeah,
with his
poor
army.
guy.
That was scary.
I wasn't going to say that out loud,
Yeah.
but it was implied in the sentence.
Yeah. Well, he's a very positive person, so he takes small wins. So his win in
Boy,
this
is he.
I didn't take my army, but I took the army that I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not playing some other army, right?
What a good army that is.
Yeah. He's like, oh,
That
well,
list is
I want to play
stunning.
for Northern Alliance, and I don't have it done, but I will borrow Felix's Northern Alliance.
Yeah.
So
Well, also, speaking of winning, I believe Jeremy won the
yeah,
pairings
he
today.
did, right?
yes.
Through some magical...
You didn't have him on the podcast about that? Aren't you guys
We don't
like
wanna
a
talk to that
podcast?
guy.
Yeah, what happened last
I don't know
night?
if we need any more Duvall content.
No,
I mean,
we have-
come on. That should
we
have
have
been a
enough
no-brainer.
Jeremy.
Should have been running over here sitting down.
We have
Do I have to- do I have to
This
do
one's
for
about
you,
me
Rob?
for once. Jeremy gets to go.
Do I need to slap on the counter charge T-shirt and take over?
You could. Well, if you were more consistent, we would love to have you.
Oh.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Hey,
no, that's a
speaking
good dig.
Speaking of Rob, there's 2 talented Goblin players, whatever Tyler is, and then Rob.
I know. Rob's in the fold.
What are your chances on this?
I feel
set
surrounded-
a trap, beta trap list for
I
Rob.
feel surrounded by,
So, all right,
by
let's
goblins.
just cut to the chase. You guys tell me how the army's supposed to play.
Make traps, close traps.
Yeah, I was
trap
gonna
is-
say,
You've got
set it up.
units.
You've got these ensnaring units with terrain,
Yeah.
and you've got a lot of small, high damage, low defense units to flap those
Don't
flanks.
let your luggage troops die too easily.
Yeah.
I gave you a
They're
list
pretty
that's
good.
basically a set of bear traps, and
Make sure they have the Strider Aura going.
Yep.
Yeah,
set,
there's
set the
Strider, no
trap,
joke.
Rob.
set the trap, and then don't throw your wingets away because they're
Yeah, wingets are needed.
Wingets are
and
Just
don't
need-
play
need
Tyler
to
because
live
Tyler
to
doesn't
deal
want to
with.
play it.
Yeah, I play halflings in the first game, so I have
Halflings are
I've
just
had-
goblins with extra rules.
I would say I
Yeah.
have no luck against halflings. For whatever reason.
You'd be
I don't
all
rate
right.
halflings. I say they're better goblins, but I don't lose to halflings. So I guess
You
maybe
just
they're not.
attrition them out.
Just wait
the
till
end and then
Wednesday when we
flip
have
it.
our episode with the UK Master who played halflings
Halflings are solid.
with
army,
lots of
I mean,
attrition, which I didn't think you could do with
Bring
halflings.
that list to America, bro.
Oh, he's calling them out. He's calling them out.
He hasn't beat Travis Tim.
I haven't beat him though either.
Well, I mean that's a fair.
I mean,
Yeah, but America's bigger, so first place.
America.
I feel like halflings are really like dependent on like the scoring system because I feel like they have to be taking casualties the whole time to be effective.
Well, that's what he was saying.
It is not an attrition winning army.
Yeah.
Blackjack's rough because
Even goblins can be rough with the
and that's
Jack.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
goblins can't
my
be
goblins don't get huge wins normally
I do
because
like
I'm
17,
I'm
16.
sacrifice. Yeah,
Then you
some
put me in
solid
my
mid
boss
ranges and then
Yeah,
But
because
you put me in-
Garrett's been toying around with his like crazy, insane, all nimble Trident Realm frog silliness, and that kind of plays kind of like a halfling list where it's
It
like
loses lots of bodies.
yeah, you lose all kinds of
Maximize
stuff, but then
points.
like 3 troops end up in your backfield, and you're like, well, dang, I guess you won.
as long as you win 6 games or 5 games for a tournament, though, you should
That's true.
be winning it.
That's true.
I mean,
I place a lot
Yeah, don't-
higher.
don't lose.
in
and that's normally what I do with my goblin list. Is as long as I don't lose, I'm up there. So,
attrition positive events like scoring systems like was it Kohler where you never have a negative, it's just your score goes up and up and up.
Yeah.
My goblins perform really, really well because I usually lose a lot of but
But you kill
punish you.
enough stuff. Yeah.
if I'm gonna win, you're going down. And then
I think we're doing that this weekend, or did Adam throw blackjack in as scoring for the main event? I was doing the stream, so I didn't even pay any attention to what you guys are doing in this room.
I'm doing nothing in this room. It's great.
I know you. Nothing.
Well, I mean, we don't know because
Where's my rule pack?
We're using tabletop score, right? So
Well, it's in the rule pack,
computer
though.
doesn't
put
But
in the.
I'm pretty
put in
sure it's
the numbers.
blackjack. I'm pretty.
I was
confident
thinking
in
because that's
that.
what we used yesterday.
Yeah.
For the pairings event.
I'm pretty sure it's
So-
blackjack because I think it's an attrition, right?
But it does change your list, right? Like if I see a blackjack, I don't want to bring a 24 drop trash list because I'm going to throw away 1,000 points
Yeah,
just to
it's
get the comp.
exactly what I was
do.
saying about the Dead Zone thing, where it's like kills counts kills, and like it doesn't matter if it's a
Doesn't matter
Iron
if it's a
Ancestor
zombie
or a zombie.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that really
Or 10
favored
zombies.
Forge Fathers and Asterians, sort of the more elite
Yeah, it
Big
definitely
crunchies.
did, but it also did. That was just kind of like a
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker kind of thing, so it wasn't super critical. But it's like, man, I really had to earn those, and you like didn't. Like, there's certain things where it's like, oh, that didn't seem that hard. Like,
Have you tried Get Good?
from time to time,
Still-
I dabble.
Still trying to achieve that.
Yeah, I dabble and get good.
I mean,
Usually I
after
dabble
looking
in-
at some of the painting yesterday for the Golden Demon or whatever, I think Tyler's done painting.
Hashtag goals.
Dude, there's some crazy
there's some stuff
stuff.
in
No, that I mean,
And
that
there's
whole
more
case,
stuff now.
That whole
but
case
then-
is amazing, but there's one standout piece to me.
And who,
That
just
Drop the deadlines today, so
who painted it?
I didn't see the nameplate,
I
but
didn't.
it's unreal. It's so basically it's in the dual category, so it's right on the corner of like the last corner if you're going around the horseshoe. But it's under the dual category, and it's got this vampire lady and a guy in a hallway.
Witch Hunter.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got a witch hunter.
vampire
So
hunter,
the
but-
guy who's got the torch, and then it's got just unreal OSL on his torch. But the thing that makes this just the best piece I've seen is that the vampire lady is in like moonlight, and the shadow that's cast behind her
It's, like,
is
really long.
perfect.
Yeah,
It is,
it
but
looks-
it's painted. It looks like you're shining your flashlight
Yeah.
like directly on it, and then
Through
you
the
like
window,
move the
and-
light away, and it's still there.
Yeah, and when you go from the sides of it to the front, like it moves like a shadow would. As
Yeah,
you
and so, like,
rotate.
the-
it's so crazy.
The guy's got the torch, and like you can see just like the part that would be still in shadow from the
him,
torch.
yeah.
It's just unreal. And then the wallpaper on the wall is like all freehand, just like
Yeah.
super ornate, beautiful, like gold. It's just unbelievable.
you want to show me when we're off the cast?
Yeah, I will definitely.
I didn't.
I will gladly
Oh,
gush about this.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd go
obviously,
look now because there'll be less people standing there. You can actually stand and look at it
We can hold
because
hands
it's
and walk down together.
okay, I'm done with that.
Kumbaya.
it's pretty crazy.
I just showed Jason like a second
Yeah,
ago.
Tyler and I have been bringing people back. Like,
And like, you know, it's
We
in
took
a
a
case.
while.
Yeah, it's in a case full of amazing stuff. But then it's
Right.
like that's extra amazing.
So it's
in
Golden
my
Demons,
opinion.
but it'll probably get second.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, it is crazy, right?
and
I've
it's,
never
it's also
guessed
stunning.
who's going to win.
Yeah.
I've never.
Well, I
been
mean, it's
correct.
so at that level, everything's so amazing that it's like it almost
and-
comes down to personal taste.
It almost comes down to who's the judge, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's so cool too because it's not the flashiest piece.
Yeah,
I just
and
think
you
it's the
wouldn't-
best done.
There's
Because
not
like
like
you
a
know, some of them it's like,
model,
oh, Angron is like a it's a 12-inch tall model. Like, oh wow, look at him, he's really cool. But like this one, it's subtle and it's just like it's done so perfectly.
Would you call that peak hobby?
I would, yeah. Like 2 years ago, 2 years ago, I was looking at all the Golden Demon stuff at Adepticon, and everything obviously is amazing, and you know it's just a sea of incredible stuff. But the most standout thing to me, like 2 years ago, is it was like a Lord of the Rings model, and it was just like a Rohirrim guy on a horse, but the horse was like so perfect that it just stood out. It was like, this is the greatest thing in this whole case, and it's just a horse. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like, yeah, you can be next to like the craziest orc thing ever, and then it's like, oh, but this horse though, like it's crazy
it
to
was
me.
one thing. Orcs and Goblins were
Oh, yeah.
yesterday morning had the case.
Dude, how do they get
They-
that?
so
how do they
many
get
of
that
them.
tricycle thing that's flying off the ramp?
Oh yeah,
to
you'll love
stay?
that.
It's
Kyle,
unbelievable.
It's got this one tiny wheel holding its entire
You get
model
to show me
out in
two
the air.
sculpts.
at least.
I stood there for a while and I'm just like, how is this still here?
Yeah,
Not
like,
bending,
physically.
like it's
Physically, how
perfectly
did it-
looks like it's coming off with just a little tiny.
Yeah, if you're
wheel.
using GW models, orcs in the lore give you a lot of freedom to do.
and
a
that's
lot
what
of
we were saying.
Yeah,
walking
like
through.
if you're going to do a conversion,
It gives you all the
colors and-
textures. It gives you any
Yeah,
color you
all of
want.
it.
Like,
You
so you can
can't-
always like, oh, it's a mostly red piece, and then you can just have like a random blue shoulder pad because
Yep, and it looks
screw
good.
you,
It
it's
looks-
orcs.
Well,
like they can
one
do
of
whatever
the-
they want, and then
you
it's
know,
like, oh,
from a competitive
the model
standpoint,
canvas is
an orc can't
utility.
be incorrect.
right.
Space Marines can be wrong.
and that's what
Yep.
Lord of the Rings can be wrong. Historicals, if you have the wrong shade of navy suede,
Well, that's what I mean. Space
fucked.
Marines are historical in that regard.
Yeah, they're historicals in the future.
Rivet counters and all that.
And then you get an orc, and it's like, what's he got? He has a foam pool noodle that shoots squigs,
and it works. Yeah, and then you can also, just texture wise, it's like you can have beat up old disgusting armor. You can have like really great
anything,
fleshy muscle stuff to paint. You can have banners. You can have checkerboards. Like they're just like. There's a reason there's like a ton of orcs and goblins in there.
There was an orc Meganob 3 years ago, and his armor was ripped off of like Obliterators and Warriors of Chaos. So he had a Nurgle shoulder pad.
Yeah, see, that's
Horn gauntlet. He
cheating.
had a Zinch like bikini left chest piece.
Yeah, you just get to show off because you're a competition painter, and you're like, well, I want to do all of it.
Can I do all
let's
of it?
just do all
so
of it.
he was like, here's rust, here's velvet, here's metallic.
And then you can pick whatever colors you want because they all make sense.
Yeah, the orc had like off pink skin because it was the perfect shade.
Because why not?
Armor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I felt really empowered to be a hobby, and then I just started 50 projects and never finished any of them.
That sounds about right.
Well, it's good
they
that
were
it
all
inspired
goblins.
you because it can also do the opposite, which is like, oh my God, I'm never going to.
Well, that's the downside of orc players. Nothing makes you unhappy. Everything inspires you, and you just get nothing done.
It's true.
You just start 50 projects.
Getting
with your
more
wife
and more models.
Says you can
Yeah, because you see a guy who converts Mr. Potato Head into a Stompa, and you're like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And then your wife
This apple at the table is now a model.
Yeah.
It works.
I think last week my
Slap
wife
some
asked-
shoulder pads. We're good.
Yeah.
I have a toy horse that's being covered in armor plates that I've been working on in air quotes for like 5 years, and I'm pretty sure last week she was like, "Are you ever going to finish this? You're going to throw it away?" And I'm like, "That's a Squigoth
Yeah.
with some foam squares on it right now." It's like 5 years old, covered in dust.
Well, all this paint talk, I'm going to go with Kyle and go show him.
All right.
Yeah,
go
Rob,
show him the ropes
I'm
while
gonna go
it's
do
not
something
busy.
productive with my life.
Thing is cool.
Well, I got Travis, So what's your hope for today?
I hope everything runs smooth. I mean, that's all we can hope
Are
for.
we
is
going to run on
TOs.
time? We're going to run on time?
I hope so. I mean, we were a little behind with the pairings, but that was kind of a unique event, and
Well, I think too,
having scores as a team, but as a split, and then making sure everyone was paired right and didn't pair with their own. There was a lot.
we
of
didn't use a lot of
logistics in
clocks yesterday either.
and yeah,
Slow things down.
and we made it. We put in extra time and knew it would take longer because we wanted experienced players to get to know new player. Like we did have four brand new players to Kings yesterday, and it was just kind of that feel out the tournament style, and we had a vision and. Think it hit. I don't know. I mean, you played in it. It seemed like everyone enjoyed themselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
fun.
there was a lot of
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
No one was pissed off at anybody.
It was weird because, like I mentioned a couple times, it was like a mixer, like a speed dating thing.
Yeah, and
there is that extra step where normally you have to do that dance with your opponent and like, okay, what are you looking for out of the game? And but then there's three people that could be new at the table. So
and it was interesting because I think a lot of the time, especially at the beginning of the game, like if you won. You ended up playing the guy you were paired with.
We flopped.
And you basically flopped tables.
Yeah, swap
and
partners.
just had two new opponents because.
Maybe that's what swingers are like.
Yeah, I must be. Yeah,
I don't know what that
thanks
is,
For,
but-
thanks for helping me out. Now you're over there, and I get to try to take advantage of you.
Exactly.
Because it was every time I'd walk by, I was like,
Funny.
you guys were paired together, and then now you're paired with your opponent.
Is there anything you want to get from the vendor hall that you haven't gotten yet? Like that you need?
I wanted to go check out HeroScape. I did a little demo yesterday. I had it. I don't know. It came out.
Did they give you a
15
free
years
model
ago,
for
and
doing the demo?
Yep, I got a free model.
My buddy Mike was like, oh, they didn't give me a free demo or a free model. I was like, well, everybody I've talked to got a free model.
Yeah, and it was a free thing. You signed up. It was like a learn to play thing, and it was free. And like I did it yesterday. There was only 4 of us, and I mean they had space for 12 players.
But it's awesome for like, honestly, obviously it's not the same level as some of the tabletop board games we play, but like, it's a great thing for kids.
And that's why, 100%. I got, the 4 kids, and they're liking to do gaming stuff. And
these are pre-painted, right?
And
or are they not?
So you can buy them pre-painted. They're more expensive.
And this is Renegade Games, right? Because they have bought the rights from Hasbro.
Because they bought,
and then they rented the
revamped it. I don't know, a year and a half ago now.
But that's cool because I got GI Joe coming.
But now, we were talking about that a little bit yesterday.
I'm gonna have to play in that.
We'll see what it goes. But I was like, I wasn't planning on spending a whole lot, but I might have to go. Since playtesting it's the same. I can use the old models that I had from very early editions with this stuff. So like, and the kids enjoy. The hex building aspect, that they can build their little world and then we can play on it. So I was like, I'm going to just get something for my kids this year. because they're getting a little older. And little man's like, likes to build and likes to play stuff. So it was, I don't know. It was good though. It was definitely getting the free model, being a free cost. Like it was nice.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Anything else on your radar?
No, just finish out the weekend, clean up, drive home, and then
Are you guys leaving Sunday night?
we got Bug Eater now, so we're
Leaving Monday.
We're staying Monday.
You got to give yourself time to clean up.
Yeah, clean up,
and unwind a little bit.
because we might be here a little late to clean.
We always are, right? With
And it
podcasts.
never,
Same thing. But you're bagging up all the terrain. And
But we're
mats.
make sure we're repacking.
And you
right.
got your alt father here to make sure that it's done right.
Yep, he's here overseeing. I mean, we've 6 of us from the Outlanders came and set up, running the events, running around. I think it's helped. I don't know if Rob, you felt that
Well,
way.
yeah,
having
because there's
the
more
extra,
of you, right?
Like yesterday, I stepped in with the pairings when Billy had to go help with setting up stream. Like it was really nice swapping out.
And rather than have a couple, 2-3 people, you've got 6.
Yeah, we brought a lot of us.
And you have extra people
knowledge.
too that you could tap on the shoulder if you wanted.
Yeah, and then obviously,
Honorary Outlanders.
Everyone's an Outlander to us, but
So Bug Eater, it's May 31st?
yeah, that first weekend in June as always, and I think Friday's the 31st this year.
I think so, yeah.
It always throws me how the year ends.
But it's still at the high school.
Still at the high school.
And it's still a multi-event.
We'll still
now, what
have-
am I hearing? Like Royers is stepping away and someone else is taking
Yeah,
over?
so Roar's still in the fold. We did a council, basically, and a board and stuff. And we started it kind of late. We were hoping to get it done earlier, but it's going to have a little bumps in the shift. But like hopefully going forward, Bug Eater will have flawless executions. On the back ends with the food and all that stuff coming. Dice, things like that, hopefully is what we're kind of trying to fix. What everyone likes to come to Bug Eater for, not just our separate Kings of War Mantic stuff, but like convention as a whole.
The loudest person to ever play Kings of War just walked in the room. Have you met Patrick Brendelson? It looks like he's playing nature again.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's back to his nature. But yeah, I'm just excited. I've seen everybody hanging out. I mean, tonight we're gonna do some bang dice tournament.
Oh yeah,
that we brought back from Nova for. Yep, Adam needs to jump in, have his speech for this, because this was we weren't missing this opportunity.
No, it's gonna be fun.
It was fun at Masters and
gambling for who can throw dice the best.
It's so degenerate.
It's kind of like craps, but it's more of a dexterity game.
It's so dumb.
No.
Why don't you explain?
That's what I brought out of it.
Yeah.
Because
Explain this game.
It's 100% luck, and 100% skill, all combined.
Then why would you
One.
play if it's 100? Oh, it's combined 100%
Yeah.
skill, 100% luck. Okay.
That's why I was the big winner at U.S. Masters. And then when I left, Travis, won some money back. But
yep, I broke a head too.
yeah, but it's just a silly little kids game that we've dumbed down to the stupidest degenerate gambling game possible.
It was for drunks. We made it for drunks.
Like, these dice have no extra ability. You could use just regular D6s, but there's just symbols on the dice that have matching colors. You're just trying to match as many colors as possible and just hoard all the dice, and you have to throw dice when it's your turn, and if you don't get any matches, you can just pass. But basically, once you run out of dice, you're out for that game or that round, and the last person standing with dice is the winner of that. So it goes quick. It's very replayable, but there is some epic moments that do happen, and you get the scream out of the whole table.
And the trophy you guys made, is that based on like the Goblet of Fire from Harry Potter?
Yeah.
That definitely looks like a Tri-Wizards Champion Cup or something like that.
It says Tri-Wizard Champ on it.
I mean, you got to lean into it, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to wear robes tonight, Travis? Like, come in dressed like Slithering or something? Come on.
No.
Get your wand out, Trav.
Yeah.
Come on.
Maybe next year. We had to get through this trial year first, but maybe I'll dress up next year.
That's funny. How's the weekend going for you, Adam?
Going a lot better than expected.
You expected like it to be a show?
No, I mean like game-wise.
Oh, game-wise. Got it.
So now I'm turning on my, TO phase, but I've been playing games up till now. So Thursday was the firefight event, and somehow
Oh, yeah.
I won
What happened
4
there,
games.
Travis?
Marcelo got me.
He plays a very big army for that game,
Yeah.
like 16 drops or
it's a lot.
something. And
Somebody else had 21 drops, right?
God.
There's another GCPS
Yeah,
player.
GCPS went
Yeah,
big.
they can
but-
go like wide hard, but The issue is like some of those scenarios, you have to actually be able to hold on to stuff, and they don't hold on to stuff. They just jump on, get knocked off, and they're like, I got another one that'll try to jump on.
Right.
So after Travis lost Marcelo in the second round, I played him in the third round.
You vanquished him.
Squeaked out a win on that one. It was a really close game. And then it was just me and Chris June.
Who's here, and he's a pretty good firefight slash.
He's a
Dead Zone?
primarily firefight
Firefight's
player.
main, yeah.
That was his main event that he was coming to play.
So did he beat you?
No.
Spoiler.
I did get a win, and having 4 wins with probably the lowest kill points of the entire tournament, though, I pulled
Barely
out
broke
the
1,000.
event.
Well, how does
Yeah.
that make somebody like Chris feel when a Kings of War player goes over to their game and just smacks him down like a little puppy?
I don't
We'll have to ask him.
I mean, yeah.
I'll have to ask him.
We'll have to let him play my list then too and see. Because if it's 2 Kings of War players, well, maybe there's a sign.
Oh.
Sorry,
No,
Chris.
I think you would struggle against his list, actually.
Me?
Yeah. He has some
Enforcer lists. I mean,
He has some nasty long-range rocket barrages that hit on 3s, and then they have devastating 2 with AP4 or something. So,
I had to play against it when you were playing him, the other
okay.
Enforcer player. And
all right. So
it was
it
was a war
you
of
know.
attrition, so I just attritioned him out. So
I'm just glad neither one of you played Armada, so I didn't have to play the ghost ships.
I know
More than once.
it was hurting
That was
me.
rough.
Dude. Those ghost ships are. I would not play those. They are so broken.
Yeah.
Travis,
I would
exactly
still have
what
my
you play.
no. I would have my tried and true dorks. That list would have probably wrecked me too.
Yeah, you can't even
So-
ram them.
Yeah.
They're gross.
So what's the hope for today? Just a nice, smooth,
Yeah.
This guy, Kyle Poole's joining us, so he's struggling.
Well, I just want for the record to say that I no longer want to paint anything ever again.
Oh,
Yeah. We sent him. Did you see that yet?
The vampire.
Oh my god.
So I've decided I'm done with the hobby, and I'm going to take up competitive knitting.
Yes. Throw all the toys away.
That's it,
my
Rob. That's
fault.
all I got on for.
All right.
Yep.
Fair enough.
You need to take Adam to go show him that before the event starts because that was so gross.
I think my main goal for today is just be on time.
Oh, we're going to have an event that finishes on time? No way.
I want an event that starts on time, for one. I think the closest was the pairings event.
So because the
yesterday.
pack says 9, and even though we really need to be starting earlier, or the website says 9,
Yeah.
are you going to get people showing up at 9?
Well,
I didn't know it started at
I
9.
mean,
It says 8:30 registration.
In the pack.
Yeah. I'm going to start my, shindig introductions at about 10 till, and as soon as that's done, go play.
Yeah. Our table assignments haven't been done yet, obviously, because
They were done in the order on the
they're
cat.
done on the cat. Yeah, so they're done.
you're
I
waiting
just
to
need,
make sure everybody shows up still, too, right? I mean,
Yes,
there's a potential.
We have a ringer that'll hop in if there's somebody missing, and then if there's more than one person missing, we'll just
adjust.
repair.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is our goal: timeliness this weekend.
Yep, I'm gonna go.
What do you think of the new venue?
I like the venue. I think this place is awesome, huge, plenty of room to expand. I know this year we're kind of secluded in kind of a corner area of the venue or of the entire event, which is excellent for us in running a tournament and hangout times and all that. There's not the traffic, there's not the noise, but it's obviously poor for exposure for the game. So it has ups and downs, but I'm really happy we're here for this first year, and I think the hall we have is a good size for our Kings event. Obviously, the dream would be to have all the events be able to have their own tables and whatnot, so we don't have the
Oh, you're not having to remove terrain on
because we were here at 1 a.m. last night changing Dead Zone tables over to Kings of War tables, and
Right.
But
I don't know if that's dissimilar from most of the non-GW events. I mean,
Sure.
they're in a shared space, and so.
That's fair.
But that's why you bring 6 people,
yeah, absolutely.
so you can just tell Travis to do the work.
Russ is our terrain guy, but yeah.
Well, does he do it? Does he just is he Godfather and just put that there? Or does he do it personally? He probably does.
He's very hands-on when
Yeah.
it comes to the terrain and all that. So when it's time to tear down, he's gonna be at the tables
Yeah.
when people are finishing up, and he just leave that there, and I'll take care of it. So
That's funny.
Yeah, I actually packed up one of the terrain tables incorrectly, and got a message the next day about it. So
That's funny. What's your predictions for this event? We got 54 players or 52 players?
yeah, 52 players now. We had one drop in Christogro, and then I haven't heard anything, so fingers crossed. This
We're
morning
still at 52.
We're still at 52. But as far as predictions go, it's tough to vote against the players that always seem to perform well. Corey Reynolds, Keith Randalls. You got some strong players in the field as it is, but there's a lot of up and comers and some brand new names that it's like I'm not going to throw my name in on somebody that I've never met before, but I hear good things, especially out of the Wisconsin group, that there's some strong players in there. So
For sure. Yeah, I played one, William Cleveland. Played him yesterday. They're good players, man.
yeah.
I know the Rat King Squirm and Vermin's here. And
Yes.
There's a couple other folks.
So, and they're like closest group that they play consistently with is like the Minnesota guys who are killers. So
Yeah, if you're playing with Shulkin and company, then and you're not getting decapitated.
that's
you're
true.
probably-
Jeff Shulkin's returning to defend his side. He
There's a
won
bunch of
last
people
year.
here that haven't been here in a little while, and you got the repeat offenders,
Right.
Corey Novocaine, Keith Randall, as you mentioned, but Sean Troy,
Yes.
Adepticon. I don't think he's been in Adepticon before playing here.
He hasn't played Kings.
Yeah,
But
what's going on? I know you're a UB buddy, but he seems like he's getting more out. He's more playing.
Oh yeah, he's getting the peer pressure. He says he play. Sean's a great guy where he makes friends in any game, no matter what he plays. He's just an addictive person, right? He's just the guy you want to hang out with. But I think secretly, Sean won't say it, but secretly, the Kings of War group is his favorite. Mm-hmm. So
I can understand that.
He's like, I play these other games, AOS and Old World, but if I had the choice of which group I want to be with, it's the Kings of War group.
Interesting. And he's brought Patrick Brindleson along with him for the ride.
Yep.
So it's a slow burn, but we're slowly turning.
Yeah. So predictions wise, that the Lords of War, the Minnesota group, that's going to be a tough group to beat. So I
Even
think
like
club
Kyle
wise.
Peaches of the world, the names we always heard, but like that next layer, all really great players.
Absolutely.
It's a deep bench.
Absolutely. So I think I'd be surprised if I'm calling out a different club than theirs at the end of the day. Or end of tomorrow.
Right.
But Dark Horse, I got to go Homer. Tim Lonis brought all the throwing masters.
He did.
He brought
and
a 23
unfortunately,
drop
why
dwarf
did
list.
Christian challenging him?
Funny thing about that, Christian challenged him basically last year at the end of Adepticon and kind of just held through it and challenged him.
That's
but
funny.
Had no clue what he was actually playing.
Yeah.
So after the lists were revealed, Tim gets a
rough.
message the next morning and he says, "You're an
That's funny. Christian's he's got giants and a mammoth, and it's
Yeah, and his Slayer's not going to do anything.
no.
I mean, the Mammoth
Has
is Rampage,
but still, it's
it's going
And
to
he doesn't
learn
have-
that dogs are greater than mammoths. So
yeah. Well, when you have that many of them,
yes, yeah, that's the key. So
well, awesome. Have a great day. Stay out of
Thanks.
trouble.
thanks, Rob.
All right, we're back Saturday morning before Adepticon Clash, 2-day event, and we got Jeff Franz, the dirty man. Well, he's not dirty. He just dirtied me. Bringing Defense 6 Impalers all over the place and just making it impossible to win.
That was so October.
It was. What have you been up to? I mean, you're bringing Salamanders.
I've been playing Salamanders again, off and on for a
It's
couple
pretty
of years.
army, too. And you got the cool display board. Looking forward to seeing that out again.
Yeah, they're a lot of enjoyable. Brought a lot of infantry this time instead of Tyrant.
Like, so more ceremonial guard and
Two
right,
hordes,
and
some
ancients.
unblooded.
Get some ancients. I like
I
ancients.
got one troop of Ancients.
They're great. A troop like that's thick chaff.
Yeah, or it's just sit behind it and make sure nothing gets
Nothing is very hard to kill a Defense 6 troop that also self-inspires.
self-inspires.
Inspires.
Well, inspires everybody.
Inspires everybody.
Seems a little rude.
Well, you haven't met Jeff yet. It's on brand for Jeff. So we also have Chris June. Yeah, we've heard lots of stuff about Chris.
Yeah.
Firefights his main game. He came here and stomped face. Did you win it?
I came in third, 3-1.
What? You were supposed to win it. You were like the
Yeah.
the person that were like, oh, Chris is going to win it.
Nah, yeah, I lost to Adam Ballard.
Well,
Yeah.
welcome to our world.
Well,
right?
so like I've only been playing 6 months.
Yeah.
So
Well, and like that's the thing. Like he's a Kings of War god,
Right.
destroys us, but he dabbles in other games, Armada or
Dabbles.
Fire. Yeah, dabbles, but he wins.
Right.
You know, in anything. So, Chris, give us a sense of how you got into like the Mantic sphere of games, because there's more than just.
Yeah.
Seems like you're playing a lot of them.
Yeah. So like my journey with Mantic started actually because of 10th edition 40K.
And when did that drop? That was like 2 years ago, maybe.
About a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
And so for me, wasn't a big fan of 10th when it came out, and I started to get really tired of the I go you go structure. And I don't want to knock anybody, you know, because like I love some of GW's games, so I'm not trying to put it.
No, I mean
down,
the reality.
right?
Everything's not. Nothing's perfect.
Right. So for me, like 10th edition, they would try to like bolt on these more interactive rules.
Right.
And so we go from a game that's predominantly I go you go, and now we have these like tacked on rules to increase interaction. But it's really just a lot of like, well, it's my turn, but you're just
Like
playing.
Overwatch.
Right.
I don't know. What
Overwatch is a great example.
Yeah.
So because Overwatch in 10th edition, you get to shoot something if it starts or ends a move within 24 inches of you. And so like as a Drukhari or Dark Eldar player, a lot of T3 bodies, even like my transports, my boats, a lot of like glass cannon-y kind of stuff. So like I was losing whole units in my own turn, and so it just got to the point to me where it was like, this is not for me. And so I was working Adepticon doing paint and take.
Yeah.
And
that was last year or
this most recent Adepticon. So yeah. And doing paint and take, and I actually was on lunch break, and my buddy was with me, and I went over to the Mantic booth because I knew Halo was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's on pre-release. I better buy it because if I don't come home with Halo, my son's gonna have me. You know, like he's gonna put me through the ringer. So I picked up the Halo box. And then
was it the Recon or the Spartan edition? The one with like
the smaller one.
Yeah.
You know.
Perfect entry point.
Yeah, it's a great
Get
game.
8 Spartans and go to town.
Yep. And it was a fun game. But while we're there, my buddy was just like, hey, have you ever looked at Firefight? I know you're not feeling 40K right now. Buddy, I don't know anything about it. I played first edition Kings of War once.
That was a terrible game.
Because
First edition Kings of War from like 2010, 2011. It's a first edition.
Well, and for me, it was like I'd come from fantasy, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted something to kind of scratch that fantasy itch.
Yeah.
So even if it was a good game, they're nothing alike. Like I went into it with false expectations.
I'm glad you said that because I've been doing this for, let's say 15 years, probably
Right.
more than that. It makes me cringe every time someone says, "Oh, it's a Warhammer right game." There's more things different. Yes, we have D6s and we have a fantasy setting.
So I'm going to do a shameless plug
Yeah.
really quick here, buddy,
Yeah.
because I am a content creator.
Yes, plug it.
Phoenix Gaming, and I did a video specifically on that because
It's just Phoenix Gaming on YouTube?
at Phoenix Gaming, Chris.
Got it.
I'll get back to the Mantic journey in a second, but that video spawned because I was looking at potentially dabbling in Kings of War again, because like we've got an old world community.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, let's check this out. So like I go and I start asking people, and I actually asked in the Indianapolis Kings of War group, and most of the answers were either just like GW's the devil, you know, or
Right.
like this is a far superior game, and it was just like, well, this isn't helpful.
No, you're at two extremes.
Right, and it's I'm looking for why should I play this from a like mechanical level? What am I getting out of it? Not like tell me if it's good or bad, because like that's so subjective, and it doesn't give me any information. So I started doing a deep dive into the rules, and because I played Old World quite a bit, and I realized like these are just not the same type of game. And so like I said, I did a whole video comparing them so that people who had those same questions could get those answers that I was looking for without all the like Mantic or GW hate or love. It was just like, you know, to me, Old World is an RPG with armies, and Kings of War is a tabletop strategy. Like they don't even compare in terms of what they are. So if it just depends on what you want out of it.
It's funny because I always think like, you know, Kings of War is really it's hard a skirmish game. I mean, you have big models and units, but like,
Right.
it doesn't matter. There's 40 guys on it. It's one unit.
Yeah.
And so you get the benefit of a skirmish thing. Now, it's almost like a skirmish game without alternating
Right.
activations.
Yeah.
Right. But you also have the ability to have the big pageantry, and you know, because it is a skirmish game with ranks and flanks, which means it now has movement is really important.
Right.
Deployment and how you know.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Angles mean things.
Yes.
angles mean things.
Yeah. Geometry is your friend.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so like we're at the booth, I'm getting recon, and my buddy's like, "Have you looked at this game?" And I was like, "No, I don't know anything about it. Played Kings of War once. wasn't what I was looking for at the time. And so like I just never came back to it. And he was just like, oh, he said, I've been looking into it for a while.
And by the way, shout out to your friend. Who is this?
My friend is Larry, Larold, as I call him.
Larold,
He loves it. He loves it. But you know, so he's just like, I've been looking at it, and I was thinking about maybe picking up the starter box. It's the Marauders Enforcers box, and I was like, all right, buddy, like I'll jump in, but I don't want orcs. Like I played orcs in Dark Eldar for 20 plus years in 40K. I'm not trying to do it.
You're just some enforcers.
And he was like, perfect, because I wanted the orcs. You can have the enforcers. So that was like how I got my start. And the time gap between Gen Con and the Michigan GT was not long. You know, plus I had to build and paint. And so I got them built. I got them primed. I'm not a big painter, so it was like, they're going to just be primed for now. And so we ran through, I think, 3 total games before the GT. And game 1, I got done with it, and I was just like, yeah, that's a game. Like very just kind of like, sure. But then we immediately re-racked that day.
Yeah.
And then we played it again, and then things started clicking, right? Like that first game, you have to figure everything out.
Yeah.
And then that second game, it's like, okay, now I see how things are supposed to interact. And I realized that the game, when you read it, it looks and reads like it's just a very basic, simple game. But when you
on
play
paper, it is.
and you understand the nuances behind everything, it's like, this is way deeper than it actually looks. And so, like, that's how I got into it. And then I went to the Michigan GT with like 4 or 5 games under my belt, and I just like today, I'm gonna walk up to my opponent. Hey man, played like 4 games. Probably gonna be a little slow. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
But I want you to just kick my teeth in and teach me.
Yeah.
And then I ended up
Spoken like a true power gamer,
yeah.
right?
Well, and then I ended up coming in 4th.
That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah, that's been it. And then so like my like today is like, am I gonna commit to Kings of War as a game? You know, because now that I understand the differences, I want to see how it plays at a competitive level and just kind of like see if it's something that I want to keep doing.
Yeah. It's funny because we have a lot, locally, we have a lot of high-ranking, 40K players that are just like, yeah, we'll still play 40K, but I really like what Kings of War offers. Because at its core, it's a streamlined rule set, which when you read the paper, when you read the book, it's like, and that's what happens. People see it and they go, oh, there's no charge reactions. There's no reforming.
Right.
Turns out you don't need any of that.
Right.
Right. No, well, some people might need it.
Right.
I don't need it. And now that it's gone for 15 years, I don't want to go back.
Right.
No, I don't want to either.
Well, to me, it just depends on what you're looking for. If you want something that plays a bit more like a historical game, cool.
That's exactly what it is. Right. I mean, it's written like just like any other, not just like any other, but many element-based games.
Yep.
Interesting though, you're not really a hobbyist, right? So
no,
you're diving into a game where you have unlimited potential of figure agnosticism and
right,
adding elements to the basing. So
and actually, Jeff and I were just talking about that because I was like, man, like I am a game first player, like hands down for everything I do. Video games, everything. If the mechanics are atrocious, I don't want anything to do with it. It could have the best story in the world, don't care. But like I'm looking at it as dinosaurs, and it's like, man, like this would make me want to consider doing something more hobby centric,
Well, it's restriction free, right? That's what they pull up. There's nobody telling you how it has to be done.
Right.
Right.
I mean, honestly, wherever you can pull out a T-Rex out of some whatever shop and put it on a base and call it a fire drake, who doesn't love a good T-Rex coming around and munching goblins or whatever?
Exactly.
Although a T-Rex that doesn't have Strider plug seems a little ridiculous that they trip over trees and bushes. But I'm just saying that because some might.
Well, 4th edition's probably not. It's probably they're certainly thinking about it. So maybe you'll. It's an interesting time though for you to get into the game because we're in 3.5,
right?
And I would say it's getting a little long in the tooth, right? And I think there's been some bloat maybe and some. I think it's time for a retune, and even if you think it's streamlined, but like stream it down even a little bit more because second edition was pretty tight, and I think over the years we sort of drifted a little bit. So it'll be interesting with Alessio Cavatore back in the fold and actually pulling the knobs to try to rein things in a little bit.
Kind of bring it back onto a course correction.
And this is just my 2 cents. We need to streamline the core rules, and you need to add flavor more with the armies themselves, right? Because we have so many armies, and there's so many armies that are just like every other army.
Right.
Nature's a good example. What the hell is nature? Like, it doesn't have any identity. Is it elementals? Is it beast people? I don't know. It's everything. It's like, well, maybe you can figure out a way to refine that message.
It's a melting pot.
Yeah, which is fine, I guess. But I have no. It doesn't inspire me to play nature.
Right.
No, but what it does do is it lets you take a bunch of different armies, finish up a unit here, and call it a nature army.
That's true.
And then it cross levels between several armies so that you always have a different option that you might not have, because I have a Salamander army, but yet I also have a Trident Realm army, so I can bring the Naiads in. Wait for it. Then you have a bunch of trees because you had Elf army, and then you have those. So it does give you other options to come and play a different taste or feel of it.
28 armies is a lot. I've had this mental exercise, like what other game has 28, not counting the fact you got 50 million different kinds of Space Marines, but like 28 distinct armies. And I know you really can't really argue it's exactly distinct because they have these theme, matchless the theme, but it's just like...
Right.
I might have them all, but we won't talk about that because I don't want anybody to know.
Well, we already know you're a hoarder, Jeff. It's fine, we're a community that doesn't publicly shame anybody. We embrace it. Your differences, right? We embrace your hoarding.
Yes.
Because your hoarding is a positive to us. Because that means every time you come to an event, it's going to be a different army, probably.
It usually is.
Yeah. Army ADD or something? I don't know what the clinical term is.
That's what they call it. My local group has no idea what I'm bringing on Friday night.
Exactly.
Could change on a whim. I could bring 2 and not decide until I get there.
Yeah. I'm curious, you're not a hobby guy, but are you a lore guy, a narrative guy, or...
No.
Okay, so how did you pick? Well, you picked Night Stalkers, which is one of the more unique armies of the whole in Panathor.
So as I played Firefight, I realized that Enforcers are just not me, right? Coming from Glass Cannon, Dark Eldar, and Orcs, I like things that go fast, and I like things that bonk, so that the Enforcers are not me, so I've been slowly building a Veerman and Night Stalker army to kind of get more in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And so I'd played a few games with Night Stalkers, and I actually got to borrow an army for this event. And the guy I borrowed it from, they were like, hey, we've got your choice of, I think it was 3 or 4 armies. And I was like, well, I know it's not going to be the same, but I'm going to just operate under the assumption that the overall concepts are going to be similar.
Yeah.
I've played Night Stalkers in Firefight.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna,
well, and there's a lot of overlap there.
Right, and that's it. It's like I just expect them to be squishy, go fast, hit hard, and that was my expectation. And so far, it's not let down. Right, that's exactly how they seem to interact. And so it's one of those where it was mostly just on I like the way they look. And I like the way they handled in Firefight on the table, and we're just going to hope that it kind of transfers over.
Yeah. It's interesting because, Jeff, I'm sitting here thinking, Night Stalkers is, in terms of an army, that's probably the most unique army we have. The way they have the mechanics for inspiring, and they have their own inspiring, it's bonkers weird.
Yeah.
To be honest, if we were just talking, if I had to get rid of all my armies, that would be one of 2 that I would keep.
100%. It's a great...
probably my favorite to play because I really hate getting shot at. Keith Randall is the one who...
Well, Keith Randall is a dirty elf player, so...
That and Jeff...
you guys better watch your mouth about that.
Yeah. Are you an elf player? Dark Elves?
Yeah.
But no, I think that the Night Stalker army just has so many options for builds that you can do shooting, you can do fast movers, you can do monster mash, you can do absolutely almost...
Well, I think that's the other selling point you're bringing up there is that, when people say, well, why Kings of War? The game is actually balanced, right? I mean, you can find a few outliers, but the reality is, in general, it's balanced, both among the armies and internal within the list. Because a lot of the better armies, well, I don't want to say better armies, but most of the armies have 2 or 3 builds that are effective. I don't know, Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. There's certain builds that seem to show higher rankings on the tables. But then, there's also the aspect of, I don't care how it plays, this is what I want to play because I like the models that I have selected. And if they die, okay, well, they were on the table. And, there's something to be said for that. But there's all sorts of different play styles. The last thing, a Defense 6 Dwarf Army, the last thing they want to see is 4 giants across the...
exactly. I just think it's interesting when you look at any big event, and you look at the top 10, it's 8 different armies and 2 doubles, right? It's not whatever some other game systems have, this is the new codex or the new army list,
right?
And so it's one, maybe there are 3 out of the top 5, right? It's that just typically doesn't happen here. Now, maybe that's just because we don't change the armies so often, and that might change in the future because we're really moving to the companion, the electronic version. So maybe we get 3 or 4 army updates in a year. I don't know.
Too many.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard.
To
It
two a
would
year.
be too hard to keep track of. There'd be confusion, especially in new players. Well, wait a minute, I thought this did this, and then they'd be frustrated. Heck, I just can't. For myself, just remembering, so I don't cheat and have my Soul Flare Cav have nimble because I wasn't thinking about it. Those are mistakes that you can honestly make, especially when you have changes.
Right now with lower missiles, because with the Kodak, with the Dutch Kings, they're now hit on 5s instead of 4s, and they got cheaper.
Yep.
It's an easy mistake to make. But with Companion, it makes it harder to make the mistakes. It's all updated live.
For the most part, yeah. But as we talked earlier, is the last time I pulled my rule book out was other than scenario was I don't pull them out during a game.
Right.
So figuring out what my sheet says, I usually know it anyway.
Well, reading might not be fundamental with you. I don't know.
Hey, I was with the infantry. I don't read much.
Well, have you played Kings of War is this your first tournament?
This will be my 3+ game, right?
Okay.
Or 4th. I played 3 games before coming to this.
With the Night Stalkers?
No.
Okay. Great. So you're pivoting. What were you playing before?
I played 1 game with Basilians and then 2 games with Night Stalkers.
Okay.
And not including just like a couple of quick walkthroughs with my kids, because those are just like whatever.
Absolutely.
But I got a buddy in Canada who does a lot of tournaments, and so like
and who's your buddy?
Brandon Goby.
Brandon Goby's in Edmonton?
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know where exactly he's at.
Yeah.
He tells me it's cold all the time, and I'm like, bro, I live
That's Canada.
right off Lake Michigan. Like, you're getting no sympathy from me.
Yeah.
So he and I play on UB. We played a couple times, and you just kick my teeth in, which is fine. Like, that's what I want. I want to learn. And so, I've got 2 games, only 1 game with the list I brought, but I understand conceptually how it's supposed to work. So it's like I just got to make sure it works that way. But yeah, no. This is how I learn games. Is like I'll just buy them. I'll find a tournament nearby, and I'm just like I'm gonna play a game real quick, and then I'm just gonna get beat.
That's him, right? He runs the Edmonton scene. He's been on the podcast.
He's an awesome dude.
He's awesome, and he came from Flames of War.
Okay.
So
yeah.
and other games and 40K and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just like an omni gamer.
Yeah.
And he's a super cool guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So that's a good steward.
We chat a lot. Like we talk a lot, and actually we got connected through my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So it's like we've been back and forth because he. Like, I'm coming to him like, hey, how do I play Kings of War? And then he's like, yeah, but also, how do I play Firefight?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool that we have that little circle of information going,
Exactly. Well, what are you hoping to get out of this weekend? I mean, it sounds like the number one thing is,
have fun.
do I like Kings of War?
Yeah,
Is it my future?
Because like that's it. Is like, do I like it? Because again, one of the things that drove me out of 40K was like the I go you go structure.
Yep.
But I know part of that was also just the weird kind of bolted on interactivity.
Yeah, we don't have any interaction. My turn's my turn, and your turn's your
that's
turn.
also one of those things where it's like I've got to like get more games.
There's
in
no armor
with
saves.
that, right? Like, because that's the few games I've played. That's the only thing that's like I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, because it's like I literally do nothing, which is fine, because then it's the same for you, right?
Yeah.
The
argument is it could break your immersion, or it can break your engagement in the game because you don't feel like you're actually part of the process. But what it does is mechanically it's the same. Like mathematically, it's the same. But it also makes it so you can actually make a tournament game that plays on the clock.
And
it
speeds up the game a little bit too, because you're not having to like wait for somebody to do something, etc. So
I don't know. I mean, does Firefight? I mean, that's alternating.
It's 100% alternating activations. You do have the ability to kind of chain activate, but you can never activate more than 2 units in a row.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, like the other player's just done. But so it's one of those.
That's funny.
That is your brain's on all the time with that game. Awesome. It keeps you engaged. So I definitely, like I said, I see the appeal to the structure of this, because like you can take a couple minutes and just be like, all right, man, I'm gonna go to the bathroom or something real quick, but like I said, for me, there's some things that just kind of like I need to get through it and see how I feel about it after a bunch of games at a more competitive level, because one of the hangups for me is like there's no reactionary attacks, and that's just super weird to me. And it's not that it's good or bad; it's just so different from everything I've done.
It's not simultaneous combat, right?
Right.
In Kings of War,
there's nothing for you to physically do, but there's always the discussion of how far away are you? What's your intention? Hey,
right.
And then with newer players, you're trying to teach and train them and make sure that they understand. Hey, you can't pivot through that, or you need to make sure you line up this way so you avoid that building when
Right.
you're moving forward.
Yeah.
Kind of give them the hints, especially with a new player. Nobody wants gotcha with a new guy.
Well, that's the thing about it's different. Like, I've played some of the other games. It's like, at this event, no one wants to beat you because you didn't know something.
Right.
Like, we're going to make sure, like, if you say, how fast do I move? We're going to say, well, I move speed 6. But do not forget, I have wild charge D3.
Yeah.
We're not going to be like, oh, by the way, you...
Man, and that is one thing I will say about even just like my experience with all of the Manta community. Because as a person who's had to spearhead multiple communities for multiple games and stuff at this point in my region, one of the things that I appreciate since getting involved in Mantic is I've not come across anybody who's like gonna withhold information. That does happen in other communities and other games, but one of the things I try to tell people when I teach them any game is like, hey, this isn't magic. Like, I don't have my secret hand here.
There's no hidden information.
Right. Like, there's
Other than what's in my head,
Right.
and
There
what
should
I'm
be
gonna do,
everything
but-
on the table. Like, if I go to do something, no, you're not obligated to remind me that you have a rule, but it's
I think what you'll find is that even if
Yeah.
if you're doing something wrong that helps you or hurts you,
Yeah.
they will tell you, hey,
Yeah.
by the way,
Yep.
because sometimes, I mean, even though it's a streamlined system, first time you get into it, especially if you're coming to it from 40K or something,
Right.
it's a different animal.
yeah.
In 40K, we ask this on list builder stuff all the time. Is it the list or is it the player? It's 20% list, it's 80% player, right? You
Right.
can make a bad list, but the player skill will use
Yeah.
it. The better player will, I don't want to say almost always, but it's pretty.
Probably 70-80%.
I mean, we already
you got to
know-
account for like dice and stuff.
Exactly,
too.
there's
Yeah.
a variance there.
Yeah, hitting on 4s is always swingy. So no, it doesn't matter how good you are. The dice
Right.
hate you that day.
Yeah.
And the dice hit you a lot? Is that what you're trying to infer?
That's why I've been looking at Elite and hitting on 3s lately.
Right.
Coward.
I'm excited though to hear you play Night Stalkers. What's in your list? I think I saw Soul Flayers maybe in the box.
I've got 4 units of Scarecrows.
Okay, regiments or hordes?
Regiments.
Okay.
3 of Tormentors. I want to keep saying Reapers because of Firefight, but they're Tormentors, and they're also regiments. I don't think I have any hordes without looking at it. So I've got 3 of those, 2 of the Mind Screeches, the named Banshee Lady.
I just call her Shakira, but
Yeah.
What-
She's absolutely awesome.
But I think her hips would lie. Right. So
for sure, she pulls you in.
right, a horror, and then a couple units of butchers, and then a terror and the cavalry.
the
Fiends?
the fiends or the shadow hounds?
Sounds.
Are they like the
Are
dog
they
people?
big or are they
Give me a second. Trying
And
to
if
think.
they're actually on cavalry bases, then you're talking about shadow hounds. But the
Probably Shadowhounds.
yeah,
That sounds right.
Because they have furious charge built in, and they're-
Yeah.
if they have an unhindered charge, they hit on +1. You know,
I think that's it.
They're pretty good.
And then because I have 2 units of those. One of them has the upgrade where you can re-roll a single hit, or I don't remember if it's the hit or damage. It's the blades.
blades are flashing.
And then the other one's got the once per game you get leap or Strider and
Jesse's boots is
Yep.
fighting.
Yep. And it's one of those, like I said, like I understand what I want to do with the list. Doesn't mean that's how it's going to
I can't wait to talk to you later and see how
Yeah.
it goes, because you also didn't bring like the planar apparition. Like that's like that's the bane of my existence when they bring it.
So that's the beautiful thing about having almost zero experience
Yeah.
in this game.
Well,
is
but no,
like-
that's the beautiful thing. Your
Yeah.
list can still work.
Right. Well,
I'm just
for,
going,
for
oh,
me,
I would
it's
always
like,
take a planar, but
I have no idea what's good. Because like even talking with Brandon, he was like, "Well, do you want me to help you?" And we're like, "Nah, dude. Like I have to just run my head into the wall until I get it figured out."
and did you have this conversation with Adam? Because he is like the best, probably the best Night Stalker.
So
player
the
in the
only
country.
conversation I really had with Adam, he was like, we were talking about it when we were playing
Let's
Firefight.
be honest, he's like Rain Man, isn't he?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit like Rain Man.
Honestly, in a lot of ways, and I'm not saying I'm as good as him, so don't misunderstand, but in a lot of ways, he reminds me of like just a low-key version of me.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
he is very low-key.
The way he can pick up things very quickly, and just kind of apply it very quickly. It's like, okay,
You are higher, much higher energy.
Oh, yeah,
which is
yeah.
good. We like higher energy.
Yeah.
because we got Jeff. He doesn't get. This is as excited as Jeff ever gets.
So I have 1 speed. Like that's it, and this is it all the time.
That's awesome.
But like I said, like I kind of we were talking about it, and he was like, it was kind of funny, man, because I was chatting with people before everything, and they were just like, this list doesn't make any sense, and he was like, no, this is actually a really good list.
What's really funny though, we had that conversation whenever somebody wins the Masters, we're like, how the hell? Right? So we had a person win with Herd. We're like, how the hell do you win with Herd? When Luke did it with Trident Realms, we're like, if you're really good and you take stuff you know how to play and you know what you're doing.
Yep.
And sometimes you get a little luck on your side. You don't play the crazy
good matchups or whatever. Yeah.
Good scenario.
There's always luck involved.
The truth is that it's run of luck. I mean, if you're playing Trident Realm and all you find is all day you're fighting shooting armies, well, you're in trouble because you're low defense and you count on the snare to protect you, and they shoot you off the table. If you're playing a table with no terrain on it, well, then you're in trouble too, because you need that terrain to boost your capabilities in your army. So, I mean, it's all hit or miss depending on what luck of the draw.
Well, hopefully you fall in love with Kings of War just like you have with Firefight. And Michigan DT is awesome because we play both there.
Yeah.
I don't know if Firefight and Kings of War will overlap. I don't know.
They didn't last year.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's always opportunities. I mean, there's a lot, there are more and more events that are playing both or playing multiple.
Right.
I think Dead Zone's the one that doesn't get as much love as maybe they should. But maybe with Halo really pushing, it might.
That game's a blast.
Yeah. Well, I'll stand by this. I don't play a lot of Dead Zone. I'm terrible at it. But it's their best game. It's their best written game. And maybe it's just because you don't have to have a tape measure. And it's just, I mean, it's clean to a...
Well, and it's been around for a while, too, and I think that helps, you know. But, like I went into yesterday's Dead Zone tournament, literally one game under my belt. And it was just like, all right, round one, we're just going to see what happens. I'm going to learn the game. And
Who'd you get to play yesterday?
his name's Jeff. That was my first round one guy. I can't remember his last name. Super nice guy. And I told him, I've played one game. I just want to learn. You're probably going to kick my teeth in. And he did.
And please do.
Right. And he did. But I learned, because I just kind of went into each game with different goals. Like game one, it was like, all right, I'm going to learn the overall mechanics. Game two, it was like, all right, I'm going to try to focus on learning how my units interact a little bit better.
Right.
And I ended up playing Aaron's son, Henry.
Yeah? Oh, Aaron, yeah. Aaron, the guy who ran the...
Yeah, he ran the firefight event.
Yeah.
We tied.
Yeah.
And then, things were clicking. And then turn three, I ended up playing Aaron. And then,
That's crazy.
He beat
because
me.
I heard the voice risk.
Yeah, and he ended up beating me, but it was one of those, now I'm understanding, now I know how the individual units interact together, and now I see how I need to use them as a group. Yeah. And then round four, I got to put it all together. Yeah. And that was my first win. Did really well, kind of figured out how I needed to move my units and stuff, and it was just cool. Now it's all clicking. And that's kind of what I expect out of this. Is today, I'm just learn. Make sure everything's going well, make sure I understand how things work, and then tomorrow, we're just going to see what happens, you know?
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Jeff, are you excited?
I'm definitely excited. I get to play Shannon Shoemaker on my first game. I haven't played him in a couple of years, so it'll be pretty
You know what the trick is?
Talk him in his turn.
100%. And let him clock himself out. That's the trick.
That is the goal.
He's like a computer, right? So you throw that thing and you're asking for you're at step 9, go back to 1, go to 9, go back to 1, and put him in that infinite loop. And then he just...
I figure I'm going to start playing that game around round 3.
He's playing Night Stalkers today, too.
Yes, he is, which
weird.
is not his list.
I've never seen that. If you were playing Goblins, I would be like, oh, that's a problem. But, you'll get him. I have faith in you.
We shall see.
Do you know what army you're playing against today?
Nope. Can't even remember who I'm playing. I met him yesterday. Seemed like a nice guy. Everything's just Jesus is taking the wheel, buddy.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
it.
We'll have to check in later and see how
absolutely.
you're doing.
I appreciate it.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks, guys. This is Rob. We're back at Adepticon 2025. It's Saturday afternoon. We're talking to my second round opponent from Armada the day after. He's gone out and he's helped with some more Adepticon staffing issues. Did a lot of shopping, probably. How you been, Mike? How's it been since yesterday?
Not
yesterday?
too bad.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm losing track. It's Thursday, right? We played?
Yeah, it was Thursday.
So I don't know about you, but these are like a blur.
Yes. Oh, especially for me, because it's just one thing after another. Of course, yesterday I spent a boatload of cash, so...
What'd you buy?
Blood and Plunder.
Yeah, from Firelock Games. Great guys. Great guys.
Yep.
Also big proponents of Kings of War. Did you buy the actual Blood and Plunder? Did you buy the Oak and Iron?
I bought the Blood and Plunder starter set.
The plastic set with the plastic boat?
Yeah.
Now, what does that go for retail?
$150.
And that's what they're charging here? $150?
Yep.
And it comes with one boat?
2.
I might have to buy them just for the boats, even if I don't play the game.
Yeah, it's 2 boats, 2 crews.
And all hard plastic?
Yeah.
How do they look?
Good.
Okay. And what factions are those, or what nations?
There are a couple of different pirate bands. So they're kind of generic. You can use them for all sorts of things.
I like this. So a funny story is a long time ago at Crucible in Orlando, the Firelight guys were there. They had miscast resin back when they were doing resin. So I bought resin boats to make terrain out of it. I love their stuff. Even if you're not playing Blood and Plunder, I'm just like, it makes awesome terrain.
Yep, and they were telling me they've got bigger and bigger boats too. And it's like, no way.
Well, how big are the boats that come in the plastic kit? Are they like,
They're about a foot long.
okay, that's a big boat, yeah.
Yeah, you can probably get 20, 25 guys crammed onto it. But they do a $400 galleon.
That's a big boat.
That's a big...
Now, that's in resin, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he didn't have one here, but it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. You're talking about big boy money now, though.
Yes,
That's
yes.
right. What else did you pick up in the vendor hall?
Well, that was primarily it. You know, I came to the show saying no more new games.
Yeah.
And I left with basically 2 new games because that crosses with Port Royal.
Yeah.
And
Port Royal's like their skirmish version of the game of Blood Plunder? Okay.
And it's campaign oriented.
Is it the same book? Did you have to buy an additional book for it?
Yeah, it's a separate rule book.
Okay. But if you're jumping 150 on a starter box, why not?
And they cross over completely, miniature-wise. So,
what I want to talk to you about, though, is Night Howl.
Night Howl design.
Night Howl design.
Yep.
Because you had some really cool Armada widgets, but you don't just do Armada widgets. You do all kinds of widgets. And you have an Etsy store?
Yes, I have an Etsy store. It's Night Howl Design at Etsy. Currently, the main product is paint racks. I started this as a way to answer questions my friends had of, I don't like the way this works. So, little niche.
Yeah.
I came up with some paint racks for some of the different bottles.
So you got the 17 milliliter bottle. You have the GW pot.
Yep.
Do you have a Monument Hobbies?
Yep.
one? Yeah. So you got Tamiya. I mean, you're a historical guy, right? In heart. So you have to you got to take care of those other paints that the historical guys are using.
Yep. And of all things, craft paints.
Love it.
I know a bunch of historical
I love
guys.
Apple Barrel and Delta, Ceramco, all that. You're painting terrain. I'm not paying $4 for a little pot. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah. So that's where I got started. And
is it mostly MDF, or do you do acrylic? Or
it's mostly MDF.
Yeah.
Acrylic gets really pricey.
Especially on a big paint rack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm slowly expanding into tokens and bases.
Widgetry. Yeah.
Yes.
You're the wizard of widgetry?
Yep. I've been doing a bunch of custom stuff for people.
Yeah.
And I got hit up for some bases for Black Seas.
Yep.
So the pill-shaped bases. And now I've got them on the store.
And I'm sure you already have you made bases for your Armada fleet, so those are going to be on there too, right?
Yep. I actually have them up there, just no pictures today, but soon.
And you were using a clear acrylic, or no, it was a blue?
Light blue.
Yeah, transparent blue acrylic.
So I'll be offering them in, clear, light blue, dark blue,
whatever color.
And whatever other color people want.
That's amazing. I like acrylic basing that are clear, even if it's blue, just so that when I put them on, like my OCD kicks in when like I have blue waves and now I'm playing on like a green northern sea with icebergs. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like the ship to match the terrain.
Well, and with Armada, the ships are so big, I'm not going to put in the time to put in all those waves. So a little color helps.
Absolutely. Well, and you did paint. You had a beautiful elf army. You did have to paint sails on. I didn't have any sails, so any little shortcut to make the time reduce is great.
Oh yeah.
But you had some other cool widgets, in particular the turn markers, right?
Yep.
Because the turn gauges, I guess they're called, the red and the yellow, because you have ones that'll fit in very tight spots.
Yep. I've come up with some very thin ones that, and they're in color. And they allow you to put it down between ships. In all those places, the big one won't fit.
Exactly. And you had a cool dashboard that takes the Mantic card.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you can check and you had, so it's like a cribbage board almost. You had all kinds of things you could put on it.
Yeah, it's got the damage tracker across the top. And you can keep track of your speed with a slot for all of the accessories. Those are going to be up in the next few days. And one of the other things I've got is speed indicating tokens.
Those are awesome because they're little sails.
Yep.
And every sail that's been, I don't know what they call that, but what are they called?
Unfurled.
Unfurled. So you had 0, 1, 2, and 3 just to show. Well, I guess in 0 you had an anchor.
Yep.
So cool.
Yep.
I love that. Super cool. What's next? You got any ideas of like how you want to make it? You know, are we talking magnets and wheels? I mean, what you got? Some other great innovation coming?
I've got some damage trackers, 0 through 9 and whatnot that are magnetized. Been kicking around some other alternate tokens. I'm always looking for ideas of tokens that people want that they can't get or don't like the version of.
And I'm assuming they can get a hold of you through the Etsy store if they ask for a custom order. And you'll work. And you obviously do acrylic if they want to pay for acrylic. If you want MDF, it's all available.
Yep. My email address is nighthowldesign@gmail. I do custom stuff all the time.
As you know, I like Armada. Love Armada. And your widgets are just that one step above, like, that's been thought out. I mean, it's by a player. That's the difference, right?
Yep.
And because they got to function. They got to get in the tight quarters.
Well, and my background is product engineering for the auto industry. So, it's solving a problem.
Do you do this in your home?
Yeah, I do this at home.
Your wife does. How do you work that out? Your wife's like, no problem.
Well, I borrow time on a laser from somebody else.
Okay.
And I just do computer design.
Okay. So you just design at home and you spit it out to some offsite.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. And I know, let's shout out that you're also part of the team that worked on the trophies, right?
Yep.
You did all the plaques to go on the back of the medals.
Yeah, I do all the award customization for Adepticon. So all the laser engraved backs, that's me.
Oh my gosh. How long does that, just give me an idea. How many medals are we talking?
Well, this year is 975.
And you do that all of the goodness of your heart, or they give you probably some perks to being a staff member, but
yeah, I get basically I'm trading my labor.
And I'm assuming that they're paying for the materials and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
right? Because those are not cheap medals.
No, but pretty much it's a work of love.
They are my favorite trophies of anything. They're just
high quality. And I just figured out today I've been doing this for 9 years now.
So 9 years at almost 1,000.
Well, we started out, the first batch was about 400, and it's grown every year.
But even 10,000, that's a lot of medals. Doing that many, how do you keep it straight where you're not mixing it up or spelling something wrong?
Spreadsheets, lots and lots of spreadsheets.
Oh my gosh.
And checklists. I have other people going over checklists and checking the medals because I'm an engineer. I don't spell well.
I do not either. I'm an engineer as well. So, Night Howl Design on Etsy. NightHowlDesign@gmail.com. Reach out to Mike. If you play Armada, ask about the turn gauges. That's where you start, and then the dashboards and all those things are available to view and check out on Etsy. So you can see
they're going to be upcoming this month.
Did you get some pictures of the games you were playing? And
I got a couple.
Yeah, so maybe you can post some pictures of them, like in action usage. Yep. Anything else you want to shout out?
I'm all wore out already.
I am too. I don't know about you. My throat's already going, and it's only day...
What's day 3?
Yeah, it's day 3. Well, yeah, if you count Wednesday as day 0, right? Yes. Well, Mike, I appreciate you coming on. You going to be back next year for Adepticon, Armada tournament? Oh, yeah. You're going to bring some friends too, right?
I'm going to try. We're trying.
Are you going to play Elves again? That's the question. I don't know.
We'll see.
How did that end up?
Let us just say I'm Tailgun Charlie.
Fair enough. Mike, appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. All right, it's Rob. We're back Saturday at Adepticon Clash. First time in Milwaukee. First of many. And we're with you guys are all from Milwaukee, right?
Yep. Milwaukee area.
2 years ago, all of a sudden you guys exploded into Kings of War, Wisconsin. Brian, you're the leader, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, Squirmin' Vermin.
Yeah,
Brian.
For sure. Vermin. I didn't even know that was his name until I saw his badge, right?
Well, my name is Squirmin' Vermin, and I am a rat of few words. Thanks for listening. And remember to keep countercharging.
Fantastic. That's fantastic radio.
No, it was 2023 that I got into Kings, and we didn't have much of a local scene. There was 2 local players, and then I got Will involved. He was one of my old Warhammer Fantasy nemesis from the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah,
we played 5th edition.
Yeah, we used to play 30 years ago.
And then we got Rob involved. We just started doing demos and playing a lot at the game store so that people would see us in the community, and then people would ask what we're playing and they'd want to get into it. the biggest thing that we did to grow the community was we made Kings of War Wisconsin Facebook group, and I made it just Kings of War Wisconsin so that it would show up in search engines.
Oh, I thought you
Did a
just
search.
keep the riffraff out.
No, because we had people that said, "Oh, you should have a clever name for your club or Kings of War Wisconsin or something," and I was like, "Yeah, but we want people to be able to find it. It's a utility tool. It needs to be easy to find when people do a search for it." And it's been great. We got, I think, 95, 96 people.
Yeah, it's
now.
really blown up. Mhm.
Yeah, and
But there's a lot of riffraff because with Minnesota and Illinois keeps spying on us.
well,
Yeah.
we do have some lurkers. We have quite a few lurkers. But even though, I mean, for over 90 people in the group, we probably have about 10 to 15 players in Wisconsin that are active and play frequently.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we did an escalation league, and we got even more people. So, yeah. It's
crazy.
It's been great last like year and a half, or yeah, I think it's been about a year and a half.
Yeah, you got me going in October, and then we started the last Escalation League in March of last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Robert, right?
Well, I got into it with, they basically moved on in life, they, gotten older, kids and whatnot, and they eventually, Will was on third shift, we kind of fell apart, and all of a sudden they come back playing Kings of War. Like, oh, I can hang out with these guys, my friends again, finally.
Yeah.
I'll get into this game, and it's turned out to be an awesome game, and I've been gaming now for over 20 years, 40K, drop zone commander, drop fleet commander, moved into bolt action, but out of all that, I gotta say Kings of War is the best community I have ever gamed with.
Agreed.
Whichever I go with all the
Yeah,
tournaments.
wonderful people.
Yeah.
I mean, is that in comparison to the other groups you may have put in the past? Is that what? Yeah.
Yep. I thought when I got into bolt action, I thought that was a great crew. How could these are all great guys? You instantly mesh with them because everyone's a history buff kind of when you get into bolt action World War II. But I've never gone to a tournament before where 15, 16 guys at a tournament. Hey, after this, the entire tournament's going to the bar.
Yeah, they're all going to go out to dinner, and then everybody will be back by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And two things you need to know. If you haven't done this before, have you guys been to Adepticon Mantic before?
Not for Mantic.
So
no.
make sure you're in the room when they sell that because it's going to be blowing it out. They have a bunch of inventory they do not want to take home. And it was last year was $5 and $10 boxes of Armada. And I don't know, it looks like it's mostly ambush boxes. So just be here. Or if you already have all the models, then I get it. But like I always can. I mean, I'm a hoarder, so I can always find room for more stuff.
Oh, my pile of shame can get bigger. It's
Exactly, 100%. So let's start over to William. What do you like about Kings of War?
I like the fact that it's a pretty streamlined rule system.
Pretty streamlined, not streamlined. Pretty. So what? Give me an example of what can be fixed. What can be further streamlined?
I think the things about Kings of War that I would fix are the way armies are built. I think it could really use a force org chart. I think the best game.
So if I tell you that's coming, you would be like, yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Any day.
I mean, I don't know exactly what. I mean, Alessio's back on the job, Alessio Cavator. So I would expect something along the lines of, at the very least, something like, Robert and I were talking about. There's only two ways to go. One is 6th edition Warhammer, where you have support, or even Firefight with support, heavy, and you can take certain amounts of each, or you take a leader and it unlocks certain units, maybe.
Yeah, we've discussed both of those options. I met Rob playing 3rd Ed 40K.
You mean you're old, bro?
I'm so old.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, that's like 2000. What year did that?
No, that was like 98.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I met Rob in 2001, and I'd been playing for years at that point. But that had that kind of force org chart, right? One HQ, 2 troops, and then a couple of each other thing. I think that's a very solid system, personally. We've also discussed the potential of taking a leader, and that leads the direction your army can go. I think either one has potential to be effective.
Yeah. What about you, Brian? What do you think about it? His comment about streamlining the game. What's kind of your opinion of the game?
So, Kings of War has everything that I loved about Warhammer Fantasy and none of the stuff that I did not like about Warhammer Fantasy. But if I was going to improve anything about the game, I'm not a game designer, but I feel like like when you have a unit in a war game, it should have a thing that it should have a strength and it should have a weakness. And there are a lot of units in Kings of War that don't really have a weakness. They're just really good. Mm-hmm. And because, like Will said, there's no force organization chart, those units get spammed. And
if they're efficient,
yeah,
it makes sense to just put more of them in the list.
Yeah, but it's not like a bad problem, but it is something that I notice a little bit. But I don't play a lot of war games. I played Warhammer Fantasy, and then I joined the army, and I was gone, and man, what was my break? I stopped playing Warhammer Fantasy in like 6th edition. And then by the time I got out of the Army, and then I was a paramedic in Milwaukee for 12 years, and I had crazy shifts, and I was raising a family, and I didn't have time for war games until after Age of Sigmar.
The Age of Sundering, or summer of 2015.
And I had no interest in that. And then I came into Kings of War, and I barely ever played 40K. I played a little bit in 3rd Ed.
Yeah.
So I haven't played a lot of miniature games, really. I played Warhammer Fantasy, and I knew it well, and then I played Kings.
Let's throw it over to Jeanette. You got a goblin army, I heard? Is that what I heard right?
I do have a goblin.
You have a goblin army?
I have a goblin army.
So
I love
what's
my little goblins.
All right, so I have to ask this because my wife is like, I am not playing Kings of War under any circumstance. Is it something to do together, or you just like your own thing? You like painting? You like playing?
I'm new to gaming in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
In my previous life, I would have never been allowed to ever do such a thing and even be able to sit amongst others.
Yeah.
But now I have a wonderful husband who includes me in everything.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so, we went over to Brian's house and they started playing, and I was just painting my little minis, and I was like, I want to try. And then he told me there's goblins, and I was like, I want an army.
Yeah.
100%.
This still gives me anxiety in these big groups.
Yep.
So I'm still learning. So trying to learn scenarios and all the games.
Well, the nice thing is just doesn't matter. If you don't know it, we'll tell you, right? It's not.
This is such a great community. I actually really love this community. I've been gaming for 10 years now, but it was all role playing. And not that they're not great, but this.
It's a different atmosphere. I think role playing is very like personal. You typically know the people that you're.
Yeah.
But even in this room, it's. I think everybody's very open, and we don't care. Just come play. We can't gatekeep. We don't have enough people. And we're happy that anybody show up and play with us, right? I mean, we've been at this for 15 years.
You say your first time in Milwaukee?
First time to Milwaukee.
So what do you think of Milwaukee?
I think it's amazing, and it's not even the place; it's the people. I mean, I'm from Michigan originally, and we've lived in California, and now we're in Tennessee for the last 20 years. But damn, they're nice. I don't know. It's cool because they can sense that you have a question. You don't have to ask the question. They will ask you, how can I help you? I will say the wax statues in the Bard Center, that's a little weird.
It's strange.
Right. And at first, I didn't realize they were wax statues of just people. I was like, this is really weird. So, and I thought they were real. Like, the perfectly steel looks perfect, but yeah.
Their tradition, they've been in here since when Gen Con was still in Milwaukee.
Yeah. What was it, the Midwest Express Center back then?
Yeah. Last year that was 02.
Well, I'm old.
I mean, we all are.
Yeah.
But downtown Milwaukee's amazing. We were talking about this compared to Chicago. I mean, Chicago in Schaumburg, you're not really by anything. The few places that are there are completely overloaded. But here, you can go out, you can eat. I'm a fan of all the skywalks, man. Shoot, keep me warm. I'm from Memphis, so it's cold. Even though yesterday, raining and 70 degrees, I don't think that's supposed to be Milwaukee, but okay.
2 days it might snow, so.
I think it's going to snow on Monday, isn't it? So we go from having 70 degrees to having snow.
Wisconsin,
So
maybe.
I know you are, Brian, a prolific tournament player. I see you post all the time. I'm going to this tournament. You've been to, I think, with the Wildcat? What events have you been to?
Let's see, I did Wildcat, I did Dragonfall, and Hoosier Storm, and then I'm here. I ran Northwoods GT, and I ran the Interstate Doubles. I think that's it.
And the Interstate Doubles, that's the Minnesota-Wisconsin tournament?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. And Robert, I know you're not in it a long time, but you've already...
Kings of War, I went up to the Interstate Doubles, Reedsburg. I've done, went up to Renegade. Went down to Hoosier Storm.
Yeah.
And now to Adepticon. And
That's
I have
amazing.
I want to go down to the Memphis Kings.
So this is the funniest story. I've been at this for a long time. If I see a name that I don't know, it's that's weird. Because I'm at a lot of events and I meet a lot of people. And I was like, Mike Horner, who was a Stormer, who I came up with. I'm like, Mike, who is this? I don't know how I got into it. I said, Kenny, do you know that? I mean, is this a Wisconsin person? Kenny? Because Kenny and I have been playing a long time. He's like, yeah, I told him about it. He signed up and I was like, okay. And then, as fate would have it, he got me in the first round and beat the bleep out of me. So
he does that.
He turned that into sausage. Well, I don't feel bad because they were like, well, he went to Hoosier Storm and he only lost to Eric. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, at least I know where I sit because I'm a mid-table player. Right? I'm not. So decided to have you come down to Kings of Memphis.
We don't want to stroke Rob's ego too much, but when Jeff Schultgen first made his little pilgrimage down to Wisconsin to play our club, and it was kind of like a little mini tournament for him. I'm going to go beat up this Wisconsin club.
Yeah.
Rob had been playing for less than a year at that time, and Rob beat Jeff
what events on your radar?
This is my fifth. So yeah, Interstate Doubles, Northwoods GT, Dragonfall, and what the heck was the other one? I don't remember. But it's my fifth tournament.
So my recommendation is you and Jeanette should come next year to the Blue City Brawl in Memphis. It's a doubles event, 1,000 points. It's in a brewery, and it's hobby turned up to 11. Insane amount of hobby.
I promise you take me to Tennessee.
It's fun. You guys come to Tennessee,
yes.
we'll typically do Graceland or whatever you guys want to do. You want to go see where Johnny Cash lived? Fine. It's the birthplace of rock and roll.
True story.
It's sketch now, as my daughter would say. It's a little like Memphis itself is probably eye-opening to you guys from Milwaukee. It's probably not what you're used to, but we don't play in Memphis. We're like in the suburbs, but yeah, it's a fun event. It really is.
Already have the Bard had been commissions already made.
When we started Blue City, we had like a king, and then that event. I kind of was like, I'm tired of running it after like 3 years. I'm like, I want to do something different. So the other local guys took it, and I started Kings of Memphis. And so you have a Bard character, you have these songs you can sing that give additional auras, and it's like we're talking about Robert. It kind of fills a hole in your list. And you can pick from 3 of them.
Yep.
So it'll be fun. And like last year, it was Scary Lee Lewis was the Bard that won the best Bard. It was like a giant arachnid spider guy smashing on a piano. Because you put him on a 40 millimeter base, and you can do whatever you want. You want to 3D print it, you want to sculpt it, be our guest. But it's gonna be fun. And there'll be a lot of good players there that might be able to beat Robert. Maybe.
No, there's plenty that can do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like it's always fun to go to events too, though, and be challenged, right?
We talk about how great Rob is, but somehow I'm 50-50 against him. Oh, and I ain't that good.
Hey, you should stop while you're ahead then, right?
That's tradition, Will. For every game we've played, we're always 50-50.
I know. I don't know why.
It's one of the funny things, though, when people lament the halflings, like, oh, the halflings aren't that good. And it's like, yeah, well, like our best local player in the Milwaukee area is a halfling player.
I respect that army.
Stomps everybody when we have our club meetups.
That's awesome. Well, are you guys enjoying Adepticon this year?
Oh, it's been
this is wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How about you? I mean, you're just like
Bouncing around.
But have you done stuff while he's playing?
Oh yeah, I went and did all the free paint takes.
Nice. So Reaper and Hero Escapes and.
Yep. That's what I do.
What kind of
I
paint?
come back up and I wait for the tables to switch, and I'm his game caddy.
Oh my! She has like a golf man. He's a caddy.
I am very fortunate.
You are very fortunate.
I said there needs to be a new category called game caddy, and then I can just win something.
What's the kind of paint? What's your favorite paint to use for painting miniatures?
I love speed paints. That's what I started with.
Like army painter speed paints.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But then when I was doing all the paint intakes, Tooth and Coats.
Tooth and Coats by Duncan Rhodes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that became like my.
They're very. They go on very clean and they're.
Yes, and then that glaze they have, putting over the colors. I mean, I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. How about you, William? What's your paint of choice?
I use a mix, but I would say my favorite brand is probably Reaper.
Oh, he just bumped you guys down on the list.
If they only got better dropper bottles, because they're good.
Well, here's the thing. So I've had lots of discussions about this. They clog.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They're terrible. But Monument Hobbies sucks bad too, because Monument has that big giant opening.
Yeah.
You have to put out so much paint. Now, I've been told they have a smaller dropper tip that you could buy, but that seems kind of silly that I have to go buy another piece of package to make your product functional.
Well, fortunately, Vallejo actually sells empty bottles, and their droppers don't suck.
Okay.
So I bought a bunch of those.
So, did you actually? You're a crazy person. So maybe now you're sinking back down. That's crazy.
Hey, yeah.
That's a lot of work. Robert, what about you?
Oh,
John Deere green is your favorite color.
Green is, yes. Unfortunately, I have to say that most of the paints on my table is Games Workshop, but it's
no wrong with Games Workshop. I just don't like the pot. I think the paint's fine.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's just a mix of whatever I can grab up.
And same question to you.
Okay.
I like this.
So
He's prefacing it.
No.
There's a little delay.
I still have the same paints from when I was in middle school playing Will in Warhammer Fantasy.
So like coat to arms or something?
AD&D official paints.
Oh my god.
And I have a bunch of Ralpartha paints.
And they're still good too.
Because those jars do not dry out.
They're like super. I'm a packaging engineer by trade, and like they're super thick.
They're really
the water doesn't
good
get out of them very
plastic bottles.
They are very good.
They never dried out, so they're over 20 years old, and that's what I have.
That's amazing.
I've been using them. I have a few colors of Citadel paint because there were some that I had some gaps in my collection. I needed some paints, and then my kid had bought me like this little starter painter set that had like a Space Marine and some Citadel paint pots in it or something. So I do have some Citadel paints, but most of my paints are old, either the official AD&D paints and the Ralpartha paints. So they're old.
Speaking, do you have Do I ever recall that you had like actually led figures in your army?
Yes, my rats have a lot of old Grenadier and Harlequin rats in them, and when I opened up the package for some of the Grenadier ones, they had lead warnings on them.
Oh my gosh!
Because that's how old they were.
And do you only play Skaven, Ratkin? Is that the only armies you ever play?
No, it's my tournament army.
Okay.
It's my favorite. I love rats.
Yeah.
I love the rat.
Are you like a person that has rats at home?
Yeah, I have pet rats.
Okay.
And I love rats, and I always have. Back in the late 90s, when we got into Warhammer Fantasy in 5th edition, I wanted to play Skaven, but they didn't have plastic box sets. It was all metal.
Yeah.
And for a middle school kid with a part-time job, you can't afford the rats.
No.
So I wound up playing Bretonnians because that was what was in the 5th ed starter box. So I
The
still have
worst army ever.
Yeah.
I hate the Bretonnian.
I know.
Well, back then in the 5th edition, we had the Lance, and you had like...
Yeah, it was,
and I only played undead, and the Bretonnians were designed to just destroy
man.
undead.
I don't think you ever were able to beat my Bretts with your undead, but
Not
then
even
when you
close.
got Chaos Dwarfs, you could beat me.
Oh, yeah. Chaos Dwarfs are
I'd
great.
bounce off of them.
Those big giant hats.
Yeah.
So great.
Shaker cannons.
Oh, he had the big hats. They were great.
That's why I play Abyssal Dwarves now.
Yeah. So funny story. When Mantic started, they were called Chaos Dwarfs with a K.
Oh, really?
But then they were like, yeah, that's probably too much on the nose. We probably changed that. So then they changed it to Abyssal Dwarfs. But
It's a great line. That's one of my favorite Mantic lines.
it's awesome.
They're
The
great
Abyssal
minis.
Dwarves. I do like them.
And the big chunky obsidian golems.
Yeah.
They're just cool models. And I assume I have not painted them, but I assume they're easier to paint.
Yeah, they're very easy minis to paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys ready for tomorrow? You're 2-1.
Yeah.
2-1.
Yep.
Robert, 1-2. We might play because I'm 1-2 as well.
Oh,
when are you gonna have Jeanette join us?
She has come into a pact with another player in Kings of War, Wisconsin, Joe Pierce, who has agreed to help her paint her army so she can get some goblins on the field.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm ready for tomorrow, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Let's just get your prediction. Out of the three of you, who's going to finish the highest tomorrow?
Oh, Rob.
Overall, okay. Is he going to win it?
Win over. Well, you're.
He's got one loss.
You got one loss.
It was kind of a minor loss.
It was a minor loss.
I don't think I'll pull it out all the way. But.
Yeah,
You never
but
know, man. You never know.
I think Rob's gonna do well, and I'm hoping that you climb back up into the Masters bracket because you were in there and then you got nudged out.
If only someone
So,
could have beaten that guy.
If only I
Storm.
could have beaten Nathaniel Johnson at Hoosier Storm.
You couldn't beat Nate. Come on, man.
Nah, man.
He's got those dwarves, though. They're pretty good.
Okay, that was one of the most exciting games of Kings of War I've ever played because he clocked out, and when he rolled the nerve check that won him the game, he rolled that nerve check as his chess clock went off.
Oh, my gosh.
It was like a three-pointer on the buzzer at an NBA game, and even though that meant that he beat me,
You were so excited.
I was so excited. I was high-fiving him, and we were both screaming, and everyone was looking at us like we were crazy.
Well, you are.
It was such a nail-biter of
So,
a game.
funny story about Nate. He came to Michigan GT 2 years ago and finished last, and then he won it this year.
Yeah.
I guess last year, right? So 2024.
Yeah.
So he's come a long ways. He's really been working hard on it. Now tonight, you guys may have not heard this. There's a game called Strike. We have hijacked a Harry Potter dice throwing game and turned it into a debauchery of gambling and stupidity. And they will be playing it out there. It is really stupid, but at the same time fun. If you're into dexterity games and you're hanging out, they'll be out there. They have a Goblet of Fire knockoff trophy that they'll be giving to somebody. And they'll be playing board games tonight. You guys board games? You like board games?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite board game, William?
A lot of people hate on it, but I think Talisman is one of the greatest board games ever.
I thought you were going to say something like Agricola, but
No,
okay.
no.
Talisman's great. It's
Stupid.
just like wonky fun.
It is
It's
12
completely
hours of fun.
Talisman.
Completely unbalanced with all the expansions.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's a commitment.
Are you a board gamer too?
Yeah.
What's your board game?
Talisman and Red Dragon Inn.
Red Dragon. It's just like
That's a good
So much fun.
throwing punches.
But yeah, Talisman, we'd make a whole 12-hour day of it because that's our time limit. Like whatever happens, and then
That's
like
awesome.
2 meals and.
That's awesome.
Right now, I'm really into one called Cavarna. It's
So is that also by the guy?
Agricola.
Yeah, so Agricola. Yeah,
Agricola.
I forget the guy's name.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah, same.
It's
same
very
design.
similar to that.
Yeah.
With resource management.
It's dwarves, right? Underground.
Yep.
Okay.
We also have one. There's an expansion where you can have races that have special abilities.
Awesome.
Forgotten Folk, I think it's called.
Awesome. How about you, sir?
I'm trying to think.
Right.
It's been a long time since we played it because it's another one that can take all damn day. But Shadows over Camelot.
Oh, that's a good
That's
one.
a good game.
That's a really
That's a
fun
great hidden
game.
trader game.
It is.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we all have a great. I mean, I'm assuming we'll all have a great day tomorrow. We may not. I might not have a great day on the table, but it'll be fun. Did you get a demo this weekend? Did you play some Kings of War at all?
She's just being our den mother this weekend.
Yeah, which she's very good at.
If you ever want a demo, let us know. We have army. We have I have 2 or 3 armies here. So
She manages will make sure when he gets hangry that he gets fed.
Yeah, that's true.
That is a thing. It has happened before.
What did you think of the pairings event?
The pairings event's fun. It's just annoying with the way the armies worked out in the end.
Well, it's completely random.
Yeah, it's so random. I ended up playing against ogres all 3 games, and I was teamed with ogres 2 of the 3 games.
Wow.
It's like just ogres. It's just ogres.
Yeah, I got to play against Shannon the very next game that we played against you and Steve, but yeah, it was weird, right? But it was, the one benefit of a pairings event like that is you can't build it, you can't plan for it, you don't know. Whereas like Blue City, you can really customize a really nasty list.
Yeah,
if
you don't know what you're going to be teamed up with, you kind of just got to build the best 1,200 points you can.
You just build a very all around list. So how'd you guys finish yesterday, or how did you finish?
I was second to last. Doesn't matter. It was fun.
Yeah, second to last.
Dude.
I mean, whether you're second or last, you're still a loser, right?
Right.
So
yeah. I mean, I was on that last table with Felix and Josh.
Well, okay. If you're hanging out with Felix.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun, dude. Those guys are just great.
Did you chat up Felix? He's a rules committee member. Did you chat him up?
Oh, yeah, we talked.
Okay, good. Did you start feeding some ideas?
We were talking about the Force Org.
Yeah, so Felix is he came up with Ferocious Charge, a bunch of the scenarios. It's all out of his head. So.
Oh, yeah.
They're accessible.
That's funny because the only time that I ever sat down and talked with Felix was at Wildcat 23, and it was because we both realized we were Army veterans, and we were both into crit at the same time but didn't know each other, so we were just talking about Army stuff the entire time and never talked about Kings of War at all, which is weird when you're hanging out with this community because that's what we all talk about.
That's awesome. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. We need to get you on again too, Robert. Maybe we'll record it in Memphis or after the fact. And, maybe you can persuade others to come down.
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's hard, though.
You keep saying stuff
about
about
To be fair, it's like a 10-hour drive, right? Or fly. If you fly, we'll pick you up. But you just let us know, man.
I'll be down in the Kings of Memphis for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're back. It's Saturday night. We're having a hangout here at the Mantic Room at Adepticon 2025. We're with the TO, Adam Ballard. It seems like everything went pretty smooth today, on time for the most part, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
And I got my ass kicked enough in the third round that I had an hour and 20 minutes to go to the deal room. All good. Yeah.
Wanted to make sure you got to that vendor hall before it closed.
I had to go spend some money.
That's the punishment.
So how's the event going?
I think the event's going really great. Some hiccups here.
Is that a Jeff Swan humble brag, or that's just legit?
Legit. There's a couple of small things, but one of the issues is my understanding was the trophies price or trophy support from Adepticon as a whole. I was told they were going to give us 3 medals, and I was like, okay, let's do first, second, third overall for the Adepticon medals, and then we'll supply the rest of the trophies and awards.
But that's not what they did.
But they gave us 7 or 8 medals, and it's just one of them was the overall. So we were able to fix that, and there's a process that you're getting a medal, but then you have to kind of mail in to get the placard part.
The guy who does the placards on the back of the medals played the Armada tournament.
I did not know that.
His name is Mike. He's going to be back in here. He was on the podcast earlier.
Awesome.
So he plays Armada and is big into widgets.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
But
he did 972 medals this year.
Wow. Nice.
He's not doing the medal. He's doing the stuff on the back.
The placard,
The placard, yeah.
Yeah. Which, honestly, getting the extra medals than what we were expecting is great, but now I feel bad because we put in that extra effort for all these other trophies, and some people are going to get a medal and a trophy, and the overall people are just getting some medals, and so we're going to have to probably make up for that in some way and, mail out some people some cool trophy or something, too.
That's okay.
It's one of the...
Let's just talk about that. The trophies that Grant made are amazing.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Too good of a job, maybe. Because you set the bar real high. Next year, you got to even be better.
I'll take same.
Okay, you're a guy that you're willing to take average with no growth.
Do you think that's average?
No, I'm saying, but next year, the bar has been set to this high level. I'm expecting to go a little bit more.
Yeah, so in my mind, maybe there's ways we can improve otherwise, and we'll maintain the trophies at a level of...
So Grant Barnes painting the trophies, does that eliminate him from or reduce his time to be able to paint you armies?
Yes. I've delayed my Night Stalker expansion that will be appearing at Masters for those.
With Firefight, is it Firefight coming, Night Stalkers, or just with
Nah.
Kings War? You don't. They're not good enough for Firefight.
I don't know. I haven't even touched them in Firefight. Maybe I'll go take a look at them and play that next year.
Yeah. Man, so they're blowing out deals in the corner.
Yeah.
It looks like a very popular thing. They did it last year with the Armada, and I don't know, you were here, right?
Yeah,
I think I bought every faction they had, where they had all of it.
Yeah.
I didn't buy one where I only get one box, but they had the extra large and both starter and booster.
Yeah, I was looking, and it sounds like they're throwing away, our ambush boxes for like $20.
$20, regiments are $20, starter armies are $50, and mega armies are $80.
Yeah, and they're letting you use your Ronnie bucks, $10 off, 50
Are they
or
really?
more. Yeah,
Is that what they said?
that's what I was told.
Well, and also like the Walking Dead dice game, which is actually a pretty good game.
Yeah.
$5. How do you beat $5?
You don't.
Right, Christian? Do you have the Walking Dead dice game? Well, you should go get one before, or the Invincible one. They're the same game. $5. They're normally $20, and they're a fun game. It's a push your luck kind of game.
Yeah.
Kind of like zombie dice, if you've played that. Give a shout out to all the people that have been helping you this weekend.
Oh man.
And don't forget anybody.
Yeah, that's the trouble. So first off, from the Mantic side of things, it's been Blake Strode and Rick Hall are the primary guys there. Blake was our initial point of contact since the very beginning when we started cooking this up 9 months ago or so. And Rick Hall was one of their newest hire, and he got brought on, and he's been really great this weekend, specifically about just what any little thing I ask or mention. Hey, can we do something like this? He's on top of it. He's doing everything he can to make sure everything happens. So props to them. Also, props to Kyle Poole, Kyle Ritchie. They're stepping in for some outside third-party paint judging.
Did you have some people drop out to be able to do it, or this was the plan all along?
No, this was our plan was to have 3 paint judges, and knowing people that were going to be here but not playing in the event, like Kyle's and Kyle, I kind of reached out to them preemptively. I was like, hey, I'd like to use you for this. Are you cool with that? And they were down. So
yeah.
So thank you to them. And then our Omaha group. I mean, we got Tim Lonis, who's the 3D print master. He has a ton of prize support from War Chest Creations up there. He's doing a lot of little things, but
he's doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, just bunch of stuff. He also has 3 armies in the field that he's loaned out.
I will say,
allowed people to
the
play.
highlight of my weekend has been I played my army against my other army.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
That was fun. Now, World War II game, I didn't know you were a historical guy, so you're helping him with this new World War II naval game?
Yes. It's.
Are you a historical guy?
I love World War II specifically.
Okay, you've been like really into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Kings of War is like my competitive game, but
it's your main squeeze.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the one I travel for and everything like that.
So Keith Randall just gave the look like I don't want to sit next to him.
Yeah, I understand.
He's too good.
Absolutely. So, but my brother-in-law and I are huge Axis and Allies fans.
I am too. And did you see they have a G.I. Joe one now?
Well, yes, I did see the box set for that, but we play the expanded.
Sure, with French and Chinese.
No, even more than that. We play the global edition. So
we started. The one that's on the real.
Yeah. Well, I have a pool table at home. That pool hasn't been played on it for like 10 years. It's just been a topper on the pool table, and it's our Axis and Allies Global Edition game that's always set up. Mm-hmm. So we started with Global Edition 1939, and within the past year or two, we got Global Edition 1936.
Right.
So we're starting with Spanish Civil War and pre-war buildups and all that. It scratches a whole new itch, and it's a ton of fun. And we get like 5 or 6 guys to play, and we just stay in my basement the whole weekend and do that. So
amazing. Well, everything seems to be running on track. Pretty sweet. Did we get all the Outlanders? Did you talk about all the Outlanders?
I did not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking I didn't hear Travis's name. So
obviously I mentioned Tim Lonis, a big part of this with his utilization of kind of War Chest Creations. He he writes off some stuff for business purposes as with a lot of these things. So he does excellent work with that. We're using his software as well, which he's been refining.
Yeah, Tabletop Score is amazing software.
Yeah.
You do have to put some effort into it on the front end, but once it's really set up, obviously we use it for a pairings event.
Yes.
And it's worked great.
And I think the way in which we're using it is better now than it's been before. Before, we were trying to get people organized with a login and a password and setting up accounts. We tried to implement some of the best practices from like Mike Atkins and the software that he uses and has built himself. Some of the best things about his is the fact that it's very user-friendly on the front end. Whereas Tim's software, the initial idea is, once we get past this hump of, the login, the password, things like that people will use this continuously and it'll be easier. So it's kind of the pain point of, when everybody was switching to the Mantic Companion, it's a little bit tough at first, but the idea is that it's just something that you would use and get easier with time. But people just don't use it frequently enough for events. Like average person goes to maybe 2 or 3 tournaments a year, so it's just not something you utilize as much as other things like that companion comparison. So we stole from Mike Atkins, used the QR code instead. And we, have people just sign in through their last name and provide the scoring from that. So it's worked out really well so far, obviously with Tim. And then Travis has been, kind of the glue, he needs to fill in wherever he's right on top of it. He's been doing primarily the Streamcast with Grant Barnes this week. Or this weekend, and it's going really well. I think the combination of those two is excellent. Obviously, Grant with the streaming is, nailing it. I've heard nothing but good things. It sounds like they've had a lot of consistent views. And then he did the painting for all the awards as well.
Amazing. All 3D printed?
3D printed.
What about the Giant? The body isn't available. Is the Giant, the whole thing available?
I was told everything was provided by Tim Lonis, and it was 3D printed.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah. And then Russ is our godfather of the Omaha group. He is our terrain master. Him and Billy managed that, and Billy was crucial as well with the matchup cast.
All right, we're going to transition. We've got Henry, new aspiring Empire of Dust General. He just made a deal with someone we will not name for a very large collection.
Yes.
Which I believe had a couple boxes of Enslaved Guardians, Shobik. So what'd you get?
Oh, yeah. So I've got, with that deal, I have Ambush set, half of a 2-player starter set, Shobek, some Enslaved Guardians, and some Mummies.
Yeah.
Lots of new stuff to add to my already growing collection.
You bought more stuff?
I did. I bought a catapult over there at the sale.
Oh, he's going to tell you don't need the catapult, but
you can play with the catapult if you want.
I know.
But do you want to win, Henry?
You
want to be a winner?
I have 2 catapults in my box of EOD right over there right now. They haven't seen the table in quite a while, but I have them. So
all right. Well, here's the guy, Adam. Give him a primer. What do you when you play EOD?
Man,
what works? What works for you?
Oh, jeez. Well, the issue is that I'm going to be talking, and people are going to point out that I haven't done with EOD recently. So we'll start this off with. Obviously, I'm not a primary EOD player. I've had success in the past,
but you still were able to beat Andy Patton, who was an EOD player, and you still smacked him down pretty good.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody can beat Andy. So
fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. EOD is, in my mind, the essential Living Legends core army. So when you take EOD, you're playing 2 to 3 Living Legends, and you're building around that from there. I think it's great that they have really good Living Legends, but it's a little difficult if you want to be kind of a hipster and want to play a different way than everybody else. The army really struggles without the synergy that those key pieces provide. So I'm talking Monolith and Soul Snare are in my opinion, the main two. Shobik is very shortly behind that. And then I'm a fan of Sebek Ray, but a Cursed High Priest does the same job. Or you can even get some cheaper Surge Casters and save some points. So
you never play Apothis, though, that I hear, right?
No. But I will say, Matt Carmack on the rules committee did get him to a playable place. So, he's not a bad option. I just think he's a lot of points. And like any dragon, if you're going to spend a lot of points, I want a lot out of it. And Absolutely. I don't know if he makes it back, basically.
Yeah.
So what do you like out of EOD?
I like all of it, honestly, but
so you're going to do a little bit of everything? You want some infantry?
Yeah.
You want some large infantry?
I like their cavalry.
Okay.
Cavalry is pretty cool.
Some Revenant Cav, or are you thinking Bow Cav?
Both. But right now I have a lot of, I think, 30 or 40 Revenant Cav.
Okay. That is a lot.
Yeah.
You could play a Matt Carmack style list. He's known for playing a very fast EOD list. He has a lot of chariots, a lot of cav, and he plays Apophis because it's a big scary dragon and whatnot. And he's done well with that. So there's definitely options out there. So
I think right now I'm focused on growing the collection and, like you said, trying to get those living legends that I have heard are pretty key for having a competitive EOD list. And so I'm getting Shobek, and then my next step is maybe the Monolith.
Okay.
I had the opportunity, but I passed it up today.
Really?
I kind of kicking myself. Yeah, they had one at the booth. And passed it
okay.
up.
So you didn't miss it on the garage sale that's happening? Okay. All right. I was going to say, if you can get a discounted Monolith, absolutely snag that sucker. So.
No, but I passed it up at the booth, and either they don't have it at the garage sale or it's sold out before they could get it down up here.
I see. All right.
So
I've found in my experience with EOD, there is a key unit that I believe most EOD players should take if they want to play competitively, and that's at least 2 scavenger regiments. Are you familiar with scavengers at all? All right, so they're the best thing in the EOD army because while everything's shambling around, just walking towards your enemy, you have these flying birds that are speed 10 and they don't shamble. So you have some chaff if you need it. You have some objective grabbers at the end of the game when the rest of your army just takes 3 turns to get to something. They can get there in 1 turn. So it just adds a lot of scenario play more than anything to your list. So I would highly recommend looking at some scavengers. And I forget if Mantic made some in the model line, but I know a lot of people have utilized the Firefight Murder Birds as their scavengers. And I think those look great. So if you're looking for models, that would be a good place to start.
Well, I do have some murder birds.
Perfect. If you're not using them for firefight, I would say add that to your EOD collection.
Yeah. So, but like I said, I'm focused on growing the collection, if nothing else, so I can have options. Because I think right now with everything I've bought, I have just under 3,000.
I bet you might have more.
Maybe.
You
Like
said 40 mummies?
Yeah.
And those mummies don't fit 10 on a troop. You're going to be using 6 or 7 for a troop, so 13 for a regiment. Those 40 mummies will go a ways, and you could make an army of 3, 4, 5 units of mummies if you wanted with that, and that's a very viable list. So
I'm looking at maybe getting up to Adepticon Clash next year.
All right.
With the EOD.
All right. You gonna play some pairings events? You gonna play some Adepticon Clash 2-day?
It depends on the pairings. Depends on when Dead Zone is, because
I see.
I compete in Dead Zone Nationals.
That makes sense. So yeah, if it's Friday again, you're probably not making that. But
definitely the Adepticon Clash if I can.
All right.
I've got nothing Saturday and Sundays.
I love it. We'll take it. So look forward to seeing you. So are you? A year's enough time to paint this army? You're like, yeah, I got that down, no problem.
What I've bought right now, I think it might take a little bit with schooling and sports, but I think a year should at least get me a 2,300 points
All right.
worth of them. So I figure I'll build out a list and then paint it.
Yeah. So you just kind of nail down what you like in the list, right? And then you just focus on painting those things, huh? We are joined by Tim Lonis.
Where'd the
War
host
Chess
go?
Master. I'm the host of this Countercharge podcast.
Oh, good God.
We were just talking EOD. Our Padawan here has purchased several EOD boxes this weekend and is excited to get started.
You giving him good advice?
I mean, I'm trying, I do my best, but sometimes, you just gotta figure out the mistakes yourself. You gotta figure out how you like to play, because what I tell you might be completely counterintuitive to what you want to do. So,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't listen anyway, and we see where that gets me.
I mean, I think you listened to me on some throwing mastiffs, and then you just took it to the next level. So
that's fair. I think I started that, and we just kind of honed that.
I think you had an idea of, you're like, why doesn't anybody play Free Dwarves? And I was like, well, you know what I would do if I'd play Free Dwarves? Throwing Mastiffs are good. And you're like, maybe I'll do it even more.
Yeah, I mean, if Throwing Mastiffs are good, then lots of Throwing Mastiffs are great, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If a little bit of alcohol is good, a lot of alcohol is even better.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Tim, how's it going this weekend?
I'm having a blast.
Yeah?
I mean...
Where are you sitting?
Oh, low, I'm sure. 1 win, 2 losses.
Gosh.
But, I mean, I went up against, I think, probably 2 of the lists that I'm most scared of, so, I'm okay with that.
Why are you scared of Jason's elves?
Jason.
Are you just scared of Jason?
Touched me in bad ways.
It sounds like Jason's the problem. His elves aren't the problem. Jason is.
No, I mean, yeah, it was a tough one. Terrain wasn't great for me. Jason just runs away like a little girl and
that's
shoots me
elves
from afar. Oh, I know, I get it.
You guys figured it out?
We figured it out. We don't need you, Rob.
I hope he's not talking
I'm a pro podcaster, Rob.
pretty easy though, right?
Absolutely.
Slider up.
Rob has been relieved from Countercharge.
That's right. I'm the replacement here. Rob is now running the Adepticon tournament. I am
good.
podcasting. So, but you at least won on the stream.
I did win on the
You
stream. That
didn't
was
make
a
a fool
solid
of yourself.
No.
On live camera.
Yes, that's
All
fair.
right. Well, we approve of that as an Outlander. You're forgiven for your other 2 losses.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah, and then here, I don't know, in an hour or so, we'll see if the Army wins anything in the showcase.
That's right. That's right. You were selected for the Kings of War team Army
team Army.
event. Yeah. So, story time for people. So, Adepticon has expanded their long-going team paint judging award outside of just Games Workshop events, it sounds like. So, they wanted to expand it to all these other gaming events that are going to be there. Well, they asked if Kings of War has a team event, and we're like, well, not a traditional team event, but yeah, we have an event that people play as a team. They're like, cool, we're going to come by and we're going to judge painting on your team's team painting. And it's like, okay, well, that's not going to be what you think it's going to be. It's 2 different armies because nobody knows who they're paired up against or paired with, right? So I might have fibbed to the person that was judging and said, oh, yeah, this is just 2 different dwarf armies. That's 1 army. And, you took enough stuff, Tim, that was absolutely believable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, on the display board, it's 46 units, so...
Right, because you have them on... yeah. So it's a lot of stuff. So the guy's like, oh, yeah, this is great. So he's like, yeah, this... Absolutely. So he handed me the information. He's like, this army's invited to the main judging competition that's happening this evening. And probably right now while we're just talking.
Yep.
And we'll see if... I don't even know what the awards are.
No idea. Yeah.
I don't know. Do they just
maybe
hand
I
you
win
cash?
a trophy and a medal? I'm just happy to be invited.
Yeah.
It was a definite shock. I wasn't expecting it.
It's not just a scam where they just load your army up and take it away, right?
Well, there's a lot of armies down there, so they better bring a big truck.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say, Travis and I here, on our way back from the dropping off the army, decided that we need to do a essentially 2,500 point, so 2 1,250 point firefight teams event next year, like a true teams event.
Okay. Okay.
And, we run that.
Okay. That's a lot of points. How many games are we thinking?
Oh, it couldn't be more than 3 games.
In 3 games, team event, that many points. I'm thinking like minimum 3 hours a round, probably.
No, so apparently, Tyler just did something along this nature again this way. And what they were doing was each team activates 2 units, one from each player.
Sure.
And then there were some rules around you can't target, or you can't both shoot the same thing. You can't shoot a unit and then charge that same unit, so they had to kind of go different ways, which helped speed things along.
Sure. But even then, I mean, I would say several of those players don't play well enough to, I don't know, I would be lost. I mean, I barely knew what my opponent's army did, and now I got 2 opponents and a partner. I guess I'll know the partner, but yeah.
We'll carry you, Adam.
I believe it. You better. You just tell me what to do, and I'll roll dice. I'd be down for that event. I just
we just got to figure out
lot.
the rules and how to run it.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we'll do some practice in Omaha.
Maybe
me, you, Trav, someone else.
I was gonna say who's the 4th?
Grant.
All right.
He doesn't know how to play, so we'll teach him.
I don't think anybody else in Omaha knows how to play, so we'll have to teach whoever.
Well, if we're going to run like a winter firefight event like we want to do, I think we'll have to get Omaha playing.
All right. See, I was talking to several people for the firefight event, and a lot of them wanted to play just the singles, but they wanted to up the points. So they wanted to go like 1,500, 1,750, and they want to go back to 3 games. Like give you an extra maybe 20 minutes a round, do 3 games, and I think people were happy with that idea. So
yeah, because it was 4 games this year, right?
It was.
That's a lot.
Way too much.
I don't think many people made it through all the game.
No, I definitely had 2 games that didn't go to full 5 rounds, so I don't know. Why are we running more events? Can't we play in events ever, Tim?
No, apparently not. You're the one that got us signed up for this, Adam.
I don't believe that for a moment. I was the one that said maybe we should when they asked us to.
That's fair.
But I didn't go like, hey, guess what, guys? I signed us up for this.
Yeah. How's the feedback you've been getting?
Good. I was just talking to several guys over a game of Strike Dice, and they were saying how they enjoyed the pairing event specifically, and how it was a lot of fun. That one of them said that normally in a game 1 versus 1, like there's very little talking and communication. Like, yeah, you're saying, here I'm rolling dice for this, I'm doing that, but he said like, when you're doing the pairing event, you got to talk with your partner and figure out, hey, what's the actual game plan? What do we want to do here? And then start talk with your opponents about how you're doing everything. So it sounds like they really like the collaboration aspect of that event. So
yeah, absolutely. And what I've seen in some of the pairing events that we've seen in the past, where the 2 people get together and make their ideal lists. Mm-hmm. You'll often have one player that's really playing both lists, right? You do this, you do this, you do this.
Yeah.
And with this pairing event, I think you had a lot more interactivity.
Right, because I think, there's some players out there that definitely have the experience with maybe their partner's list.
Yeah.
And can provide very efficient or effective feedback and have the general outline of what they should do down. But I think there's also a lot of people that are like, I don't know Empire Dust that well. What do you normally do, right? How can I help you?
Yeah. No, great. So when does the strike tournament start?
9:00. Let's take a look here. That's going to be
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Well, we better wrap this up then. I got to get some people signed up for some strike dice here soon and collect some money. I told them I'm going to do a 50-50 pot, so I get half of it.
Yeah, checks out.
Yeah.
I get the other half.
Deal, if you win.
I'll hold on to the money for you. You think Rob's going to get any usable material out of it?
Absolutely not.
No, trash. So. All garbage.
All right. I'm just going to leave him with a special thing. Always keep countercharging.
All right,
guys, Rob. We are back. It's Saturday night at Adepticon 2025. We're with Chris. We talked this morning.
Yep.
The hardest of the hardcore 40K player.
Yeah, I mean, for a long time, yeah, definitely was, highly ranked in ITC as a Drukhari player, and finished top 10 globally.
Yeah. So you were talking this morning how much you kind of moved over to Firefight.
Yep.
And now Dead Zone.
Yeah.
And the Warpath universe. Are you going to play the Warpath Epic? Not yours. Not.
I don't do 15 mil.
Yeah.
Like it's never.
You're only
been
28
anything.
millimeters skirmish, rank and flanks.
Battle games first, skirmish games second.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but you said, hey, depends on how things go this weekend.
Yeah.
So you're playing Night Stalkers. You borrowed an army.
Yeah.
Who'd you borrow the army from?
Tim.
Tim Lonis.
Tim. I can't think of his
Tim
last name.
Lonis, big beard.
Yeah.
Tim Lonis, great. What's in your list? You know now, really.
Yeah. So I've got the name Shakira, as they call her.
Yeah. The hips don't lie, right?
Yeah.
Or
they don't.
They don't lie.
She's shaking them.
Yeah.
So I've got that. I've got a horror. I've got 4 units of Scarecrows regiments. We've got 2 Soul Flayers and 2 Butchers and 3 Tormentors. And I'm just trying to kind of and a Terror. I think that's most of it. Like going through everything. And it's one of those it's been fun. I've been able to use it. I've been able to move and do what I need to do. My round 1 was Jeremy
Duvall.
Yep, and
charge.
That was a game.
And so he played Northern Alliance, and I think the problem for your army, you have stealthy, but a lot of his stuff has long range.
Yeah.
And he has the frozen ability to slow you down.
Yep.
And so he did the same thing to me. But I have a lot of close range shooting and attacks, and I would go up, and he would sort of slow me down, and so it took so long to get there. By the time I was, almost there, I lost a third of my army, and then the power wasn't there. And he's got shenanigans with the ice elementals.
Right.
I shoot you and surge you in.
Surge, right. Well, and the big thing there was because I'd never seen the army before.
Yeah.
Because again, second, third game, he walked up to the table, handed me his list. I'm like, I don't care, dude.
Yeah, and did you? Unfortunately, you didn't get to call him on his. Right? And be like, well, is that really 12 inches, bro?
Well, and he was just like, what do you mean you don't care? And I'm like, look, man, those are words on a page.
Yeah, you don't have any reference. You don't know what they are.
Right, I can read it, but until I see it, it's not going to matter. So.
I think what's interesting is when I play I'll usually in a tournament, if I don't know the person and I think they're new, I'll say, are you a new player? And they'll say, yeah. So would you, rather than me giving you a list, would you just want me to tell you generically what they do?
Right.
These are a hammer unit. They have high defense.
Right.
They're anvil. And that might make more sense than just trying to.
Right. And it's one of those, I looked at him, I was like, here's what I expect from this. I said, I'm not going to try to take your time. Right. You're here for
You're
a tournament.
learning on your own dime.
Right. You're here for a tournament. I'm not going to take your time. I just want you to be a little bit patient.
Yeah.
And understand that I'm here to lose, but to learn.
Exactly.
And he was like, hey, man, are you cool if we use a chess clock? And I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't want you to lose time because of me.
Yeah.
And he was super gracious about everything. He was very helpful. I had a great time with him. I scored 1 whole point. And
we played Protect and Raise, I think, this morning. Which is 7 tokens, and there's 3 on your side, 3 on theirs, and 1 in the middle.
Was that mission 1?
I think so.
Yeah, I think.
Then we did stockpile in the second round.
Yeah.
Whatever that.
And like I said, the whole thing went well.
Push.
I had a good time with him.
Yeah.
And
so he wasn't.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Was he the opposite? Hey, dude, I don't need you to, coddle me.
No, it was more.
There's a little hesitation in your voice, Chris.
I was mostly just trying to think about it.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't coddle me.
Yeah.
Because I asked him hey, do they shoot? Yeah, they shoot 18 inches. Okay.
But he didn't tell you that they shoot 18 inches and then it can be surged in, or what?
Or 12 inches. 12 inches. I mean,
right? But those are the claws that you were talking about too. With the birds, they do shoot 18 inches.
Yeah, and it's just I knew they could surge. He told me they had shambling and they could surge. And one of the few games I did play was against Undead, and I got that as a gotcha. And I asked the guy to just hit me with gotchas when I was learning, because that's how I'm going to remember.
Yeah.
So when he was like, "Oh, they're shambling," and I'm like, "Oh, like Undead." So you're just going to shoot me and move into me? And he's like, "Yeah."
Awesome.
But no, he definitely. I don't think he pulled any punches on me.
Good. He won't either.
No.
He's a teddy bear. He's a social worker. He's a teddy bear. But on the table, he's a mean.
And
And I know.
Turn 1, turn 2, we were both real timid because I don't know.
He was timid.
Yeah, but I guess he'd only played the list once or twice.
Yeah, The big joke with him is he's supposed to be painting a Northern Alliance army, and we're giving him a bunch of bullshit.
For like 10 years.
Yeah, well, a long time. Like any army. It's not even just this one. He's always like, well, it's not ready yet. Well, when is it going to be ready? Come on. So he borrowed Felix's. That was Felix's army. That
And I learned that also because I was just like, oh, man, these look great. And he's like, oh, they're not mine.
So you had a good game with Jeremy. It was a big loss, small loss?
Yeah, no, it was huge. 6-1. I think it killed like 600 or 500 points of his stuff.
Okay.
He was close to it.
So you have a loss.
Yep.
Who'd you play in round 2?
Johnny, W-A-C-H. I don't know how to say his last name.
Oh, Johnny Walk from Idaho.
Yeah. So really it came down to just like a couple of clutch rolls.
What was he playing, by the way? Ogres? No.
Yes.
Ogres, yeah. They're good against a lot of different armies.
And it's one of those, like, there were a couple of, like, I had a couple of good rounds. He had a couple of good rounds. Everything was going well. And it came down to the last turn.
Yeah.
You know, I sent Shakira over to charge because I didn't realize his dudes, his command units, his characters can pick things up because they have unit strength. So, like, he went and picked one up, had the token. So I sent Shakira over there, torpedoed her into it, smoked him off the table.
Yeah.
And then I just needed her to not die.
And she died.
Yeah.
So it was a small win?
Yeah, it was. He had 3, I had 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It was a super fun game.
0-2, though. You're going into game 3. Now you're in the baby seal pool, right? Like you're down there.
Yeah.
And so now you may be, depending on, there could be other players that this is new to them.
So the guy I played, his name's Dan, and I actually met him at Michigan GT at the Firefight tournament.
All right. Dan, what was Dan's last name? Remember?
I don't, but he's playing Marauders.
He's playing Marauders.
And he's playing
Marauders in Firefight.
No. Or Orcs.
Orcs.
Yeah, it's all the same to me.
Yeah.
He's playing Orcs, and he's got the big Manticore cavalry.
Yeah. Oh, the Rift War. Oh, Daniel Bryan. I don't know if I told you this story. He lives across the street from my mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We met at Michigan GT, and I'm telling him I'm from Lansing. He said, "Oh, where?" And I get closer and closer. He's like, I say like the street name. He's like, he looks at me and he's like, "Are you Kay Finesse son?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I live across the street from your mom." And so now we get to play all the time. Anyways, so Daniel is a super fun guy.
Oh, he's awesome. He's a super nice guy. I met him at the Michigan GT in the Firefight tournament, and I actually played him round 1 in the Firefight tournament. And like I said before, like that was like my 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th game of Firefight. So it was the same experience I had here. And so like, again, super close game. I think I won. It was 6-5.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like, it just came down to I was able to knock him off of objectives, and he wasn't able to get across midfield late game in order to max points.
You got 3 games under your belt.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm in. Like, that was it. My experience today, and I told you I had my apprehensions. After seeing it at pace.
Yeah, I guess my question for you is like from a skirmish perspective, and that we talked about the you go, I go.
Yeah.
Right? I wonder if like, were you thinking like this is going to take a long time to do these games? It's going to feel slow, methodical?
It's less that and more just like the pacing of the turns, right? Because like the game's going to take as long as it takes, you know?
100%.
And, you know, you could say that like a Warhammer game takes forever and turns take forever. But when you're playing at a tournament pace, it doesn't, you know? So that's one of those like, it was really the you go, I go, ratcheted up to 11 that made me apprehensive. Like, I'm not doing anything on your turn.
But it turns are so quick, typically.
Right, and that's
you're engaged because even though you're not rolling dice, your answer defense, great, and your opponent's telling you, this is my intention, this is what I'm doing here. Look at this, do I have enough pivots? Are we in agreement? Yeah.
And that was it, is I got to see the game at pace and how it's supposed to be played. Because the only time I'd played so far has been on UB. Universal Battle, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And
so you're hardcore, man, already, if you're using Universal Battle, man.
So the guy that taught me, big tournament player out of Canada.
Yeah, Brandon Golby. We talked about it. It's so weird, right? Like, I know Brandon. He's been on the show a bunch of times, right?
You know,
former
so like,
European team champion, tournament player for Flames of War. And
so, like, the last game, actually, we played, I think we played 3 games. And the last game we played ended up winning. Pure luck. I'm not gonna like pretend I.
No. Just tell me you're better. Americans are better than Canadians.
Yeah, you know I do. He started dogging on me about using the standard system, and I was like, bro, you talk a lot of shit for a country that still uses it too. You know, like out of here,
exactly.
You know,
exactly.
And you know, like he was a great teacher because again, no punches pulled.
No, I can tell. I've never played him, obviously, but that would be my expectation with him. Is that no, we're not dumbing this down. You're gonna get in the cage and you're gonna do a fight.
Yep, and that's what I asked him for. Was like, hey, just give it to me. I don't
Yeah.
care. I don't, but like seeing the game on the table is a totally different experience, as I expected it to be, and that's why I wanted to make sure I came here. Was because all right, UB is not what the game's intended to be. That's just a way to get reps in.
I think it's makes the game look deceivingly easy because you have God mode and you can literally. It's really hard to miss stuff in UB.
Right.
But on at an ISO perspective, you're like, I think that's right, and you don't. And in a live game, you're not putting tools down and giving away your hand that I think I want to try to do this. Right. It's not a gotcha game, but you're certainly trying to reserve. You're not trying to. You're bluffing, right? You're trying to not tell. You're not trying to give. Tip off what you're going to do. So,
and like I said, like seeing it at pace has been amazing. I had a great time, and honestly, a big part of it is also just the community. Well,
you played 3 cool people, right?
I did,
and it helps.
But I haven't even met anybody that I would say is just like, you're an ass.
Well, yeah.
I can go to any other game that. It doesn't even have to be GW. Any game, and I can go to a tournament. I'm gonna run into at least. Right. And later on, I'll tell you a good story when we're offline for that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But anyway, so like seeing everything at pace has been good. And, the community's been great. Everybody's been friendly. I've not gotten any eye rolls when I'm like, hey, man, I'm a new player.
No, you won't get that. You'll get like, hey, how can I help you learn?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. Same thing with Firefight. Like, that's one of the things that really pulled me in. I went to the Michigan GT. The TO there was awesome.
Yeah.
Brian
Novak?
Yep. Awesome dude. Loved meeting him. Was super happy about it. And just like, that's also a big part of it is like the community is much more welcoming,
Yeah.
So it's one of those like, I'm in. Like, I'm already eyeballing my army.
You're thinking now, like you played a few games. You're playing Night Stalkers. Why'd you pick halflings? Like that's what you're going, right?
Because they're cute.
Okay, all right. I mean, but you don't really know. Do you know how they play, or you just like the models?
Yeah. Don't.
Well, what's weird because you're not a hobby guy, right? You said you don't really paint,
right? And I don't. But like that's one of those things where I look at it and I'm like, man, these things are just so cool, right?
Yeah.
Like they got the little idiot with his lawnmower and the guy on his back and stuff, and I'm just like. That
it literally is a mower, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then they got the lady riding her little soup pot and stuff.
Yeah, and they have an iron beast, which is a giant mechanical pig.
Like, I'm done. Like that's it.
Flying dogs,
and so,
dog cavalry.
It's one of those like, this is awesome. They got the little jetpack dudes with a little smoke.
Edge Grenadiers.
Yep.
And then they have aeronauts with balloon people.
Yep.
So if you're locked into halflings, what's going to be your entry point? Are you going to buy a mega army? What are you going to do?
I think the first thing I'm going to do is go through the army list.
Yeah.
And kind of see where I want to start, right? Like look at everything, see what it is I want, and then go from there. Because now that I understand enough about the game that I can look at a unit and kind of understand its role and its intent, I think that's going to help me. I tend to prefer things that like go fast, hit hard, and then die.
Yeah.
So it's one of those like, I'm going to see what can kind of fit that bill and then how I can support it and kind of build from there.
Yeah. Well, too, I mean, you're not a 3D printer, I'm assuming?
I am. But not personally.
Yeah.
Like we've got a good 3D printing community with a couple of my buddies. We actually have we split the cost for the companion or the vault.
Yeah.
So like I know that stuff's in there. And then I've got a PLA printer, so I do a ton of terrain and stuff like that. So like, yes, but I don't mind like not printing. I don't care.
Well, no, I mean, what I was just going to say is like the halfling army is a great army that is a good mix, right? Buy the hard plastics and you print resin bits to change. Maybe you want stalwarts or whatever. And then,
And I was already told to get the balloons printed.
Do not buy the balloons. Printed. Because they're like impossible to put together.
Right.
But the Edge Grenadiers, you can. I think they're printable, but the resin models they're fine too. It's not.
Right.
But the balloons, they have ropes and no, they're just so dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a resin kit, so.
Well,
it is what it is.
Adam warned me.
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing he asked me when we got done today. He was like, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "I'm getting an army." He's like, "Oh, what are you getting?" I was like, "Oh, halflings." He's like, "Oh, they're really good." I'm like, "I don't even care, man."
Yeah. Did you start talking to some of the halfling players here?
I've talked to Felix a
yeah?
bit. Yeah, I haven't talked to the other guy with his John Deere army, but I have spoken to Felix, and I wanted to make sure I saw Felix's army because we talked, and
it's literally like the Mantic halfling army. It's not heavily converted.
Right, and to me, like and I'm not knocking anybody, but Mantic, their models are so much better looking in person
100%
than they are on their website. And
they have bad photography and they don't always do the best paint jobs.
It's one of those, like, it's so weird though, because like,
well, yeah, I mean, I think they don't have a heavy metal team, which doesn't help. But like, for example, the new Halo models that they have down in the case, like even the artwork and the pictures they show are amazing because Heraldez is just an amazing painter. But they don't always use the really high-end painter, and I think maybe the photography sometimes is not what it needs to be. And it doesn't showcase the models as well as they could. So, I don't know.
And
sometimes you got to see them.
And that's it. I wanted to see them because, like, I know I like the way it looked in the website in terms of, like, that looks cool. I want to see it in person. And once I got to see Felix's, and his are painted way better than I'll ever paint them.
But you'll still have fun doing it.
Well,
maybe.
but that's the thing is, like, cool. This is what they would look like if I was good at this. Awesome.
Right.
I appreciate it. Like, just because I'm not a painter doesn't mean I can't appreciate it,
No, 100%. And I always tell people, like, I think we can all take some satisfaction or enjoyment out of the meditative process of just painting, even if the end result can be frustrating or maybe not what we want. But it's a path, right? You didn't become great at 40K in 2 days, right?
No,
I mean,
right.
You got to build it up. It's a muscle.
About 500 games in a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, I don't mind painting a model, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can grab a model and I can sit down and I can go start to finish on it and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But when I look at, like, all right, now I have 100 models.
100%.
I'm just like,
it's a barrier to entry for some people.
I don't care. Like, we're just going to slap chop it and be done.
Exactly. Slap chop. I like it. You're using all the correct hobby lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been doing this a while, man.
Yeah, for sure. So tomorrow we'll have 2 games. What are your hopes for tomorrow?
First priority is going to be to apply what I've learned today.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about positioning and spacing with my list,
Mhm.
and that's made a huge difference. Like, turn one, like I said, or round one,
You were a Muppet. You just pushed it out there.
Right,
and-
like I'm not winning that game no matter what. But round two, I kind of like spaced out a lot better because round one I was real tight. Because again, coming from playing a lot of enforcers in Firefight, like I almost have that as a habit where I'm just like kind of grouped and then a little bit over here. And
Well, Night Stalkers don't have inspiring. to lump
and like
together.
the only aura I have, I just have to have models within 9 inches of him.
Right.
And it's all my infantry get vicious.
Right. So you have the horror model.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's got the crown that extends his auras by 3 inches.
and the sacred horn.
The horn, yeah. So it's one of those like, so round two, it was, okay, now I'm spacing. And I'm not necessarily scoring well, but my positioning's better. I'm removing models better. Things are going better for me. And then round three was putting it all together.
You're saying the same story that happened to me today. I played Goblins like 4 years ago. Had the army. Somebody made me the list. And the first game, I played like a complete dumbass. and he beat the piss out of me. It's all about working together to knock. You can't, like, it's not a game where you're going to just, I'm going to shoot this unit. No, you got to kill stuff. Knock it out. Right. You can't regen it when they're dead. Right. And the second game, I'm playing, ironically, my army against my other army this year. I know I play ogres pretty good. So I'm playing against ogres and I'm like, okay, this is when it clicks. Because I already know what they can do. And I'm like, okay, shoot. And then in the third game, I played Jeremy Duvall and he just... we showed up and I'm like, okay, you have 18 inches and 24 inches, and then you can go 12 and then surge in. I'm like, all my 12. And I have a bunch of berserkers that are defense 4, right? I have no heal in the list, so I just ran at him like a crazy person, and he didn't table me, we were damn near. Yeah. I had like 3 units left. Sometimes you run the guns and you make it.
Rip.
But sometimes you don't.
That's
So-
it.
But every game you play with a new list or a new army, you learn to use the tools better, and maybe you even learn, like, well, maybe I want a different tool. Is there anything so far you wish you would have changed in your list?
So the only thing that hasn't really performed, and I don't know if it's a function of my matchups or if it's a function of just like the state of the game right now, but that's the terror. And it's one of those like...
It's you then, because the terror is on. No, it could be matchups.
Well, so like
the terror against
Jeremy had
Johnny.
almost no...
Johnny, right? All ogres not going to help you.
Right.
And Jeremy has a lot of stuff he's going to present to you. Is the ice?
Right. He didn't have a ton of little infantry, and when he did,
he wasn't going to give them to you.
Right. And because he's a high skilled enough player, he knows what it does and he knows what it's about. The one game it did perform was in the Marauders game.
Yeah.
Or Orcs.
It's okay.
And I was able to get that to go to work.
Water.
I was able to get it on a flank and give it its million attacks, like 40 dice in a fight.
Well, I mean, I just played in the doubles event, and my partner had the tear, and I'm just like, I just laugh every time, the 12 attacks plus 8 rampage. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then when they come back at you, you got it staring.
So like he gobbled up a unit of Dan's cavalry, and then I got to push forward. And then he gobbled up a unit of his infantry, and then he got to push forward, and then he gobbled up a command unit, and that was all he got to do. But the fact that I got him to do a thing was enough for me to be happy.
Kings of War is a game of trading pieces.
Yep.
Right? Like most games are, right?
Yeah.
But in this game, you sort of have to set the trap. You have to set it in a way that it doesn't look obvious.
Right.
It's really a hard
and that's
thing.
one of those, and again, I'm figuring it out. And with Dan, it was one of those, I just kind of kept nudging forward, and then I just kind of, threw some scarecrows out there. I didn't think he was going to take it. I thought he was just going to keep nudging forward. But the nice part is, those tormentors, you keep nudging forward. If you don't take those scarecrows, the tormentors are going to come take you.
You gotta take it to the tormentors, because at defense 3, they die easily.
Yep.
But if you let them pop over, they hit. I mean, the Reapers do too. The Reapers hit a ton of bricks as well.
Yep. And honestly, I don't remember the difference, but there was something specific about the tormentors.
Well, they have the leaper rule, right? So
that's what it is. Yep.
They're basically they can see over the unit, so
right?
they can jump.
With their
so you
nimble
can protect
and their fly.
them. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that was a lot of it. So a lot of it is set up with scarecrows as screens, leapers behind them, and then leaping over to.
So as a Night Stalker player, you'll find your identity, right?
Right.
You're an aggressive player, it feels.
Yes.
But Bloodworms are pretty freaking great too. 40 attacks.
I'll have to look at them.
People will take 2 of them. It's what do you do against 2 of them? I mean, it takes 2 or 3 units to take them out.
Right.
And they will die, but all your other stuff is free to do stuff because they're having to deal with it. So there's lots of options. We talked about the planar apparition. I mean, Radiance of Life and Heal 7, pretty sweet, right?
Yep.
That flies. The source flies.
And honestly, one of the things, if I were to remake this list with very minor tweaks, the one tweak I would probably make is instead of 2 regiments of butchers, I'd probably just make one.
No, yeah. So just generally, regiments are good. Regiments of defense 6, large infantry,
right?
Even defense 5, which are butchers,
right?
But your nerve is lower, and you're not necessarily going to survive.
Well, they
the punch.
hit on 4s, and
just take the horde. Right, take the horde,
and that's one of those.
And they have the crushing too, and they're there to deliver the punch. And they're not there to
fury,
take it.
Yep.
They're not there to take it. I mean, if you have to take it, at least the horde gives you the nerve. What is it, 18?
Yep.
So
that'd be one of the tweaks I would make.
And you save some points.
Yeah.
You had I don't know. You had 1 regiment.
2.
So as you put 2 in, you're going to save some points.
Yep.
So that's awesome. I don't know. I'm excited. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow after you finished.
Yeah.
Because are you maybe you're covered Michigan GT though, right?
I'll be there.
Yeah, so you'll be Firefight, Dead Zone, and Kings of War GT.
Just depends on timing. Definitely Firefight. Definitely.
Well, if they do those on Friday and we do the other ones,
And that's it. It's definitely Firefight, definitely Kings of War.
And you met Blake Schroed from Mantic, I think, right? He's the guy running the booth. Big guy.
I've seen him.
Yeah, he runs the Michigan GT, as you probably know that. The Mantic portion of it.
Yeah, and it's I've probably talked to him.
For sure you did.
Yeah.
Or Kyle, his son, who was given champion demos right there.
Yeah, I've definitely.
Well, that's exciting, dude.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Are we looking for 3 and 2 tomorrow?
Like I said, first order of priority is making sure I put what I've learned to work.
Yep.
And 1 game at a time. If I get a win, awesome. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it, but yeah, the ultimate goal.
That's a good. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're good, man. The ultimate goal for me is always to win more than I lose. I don't have to win everything, but if I can walk away 3 and 2, I'm gonna be super happy. If I walk away 2 and 3, but I've learned and I've got friends, I'm still happy.
So it's funny because Eric Trowbridge, who's a really good player in Kings of War, he said one time, Rob, you don't learn anything from winning. All it does is confirm your bias. You need to lose.
Exactly.
And Eric does that to me a lot. He makes me lose.
Yeah.
And so, I think there's a real value in losing. Losing smart, which is asking questions. What did I do wrong here?
Right.
What would you change in my list? What would you have did different? And
doing those after action reviews.
Exactly.
You got to be willing to get your butt bashed.
Exactly. Well, good luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Thanks, sir, man.
Yep.
Rob, it's later on Saturday night. We've been talking a lot tonight, Adam.
Sure have.
And you guys just finished what's the official name of this event?
The official Strike Dice Championship Tri-Wizard Tournament Cup.
I like it.
I don't know. We'll come up with more
Yeah,
names.
so a little history on this. We talked a little bit about it, right? So it's
Yeah.
a children's game based with like a Quidditch map. And, well, I'm going to turn it over to you guys to maybe talk about it. And you have the champion on it to interview.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, it's just a child's game. I think it's like ages 3 and up, and you literally just throw dice and try to match colors. There's actual rules to the game, but we don't play that. We just match colors and play the game, and it just makes for some epic times and moments. I've lost my voice. I was yelling so.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
For sure.
So we have our official champion of the first official Clash of Kings Tri-Wizard tournament. I don't know. I'm making up names now. But Jacob has
That's
won.
a real thing, though. That's a real thing.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, Adepticon may not know about it. I just collect the entry fee on the side, a single $1. And we have a beautiful cup.
Beautiful.
And Jacob, I haven't met you before, but I feel like we've known each
Nice
other
to
our
meet you,
whole life.
yeah.
So I'm so glad that you came over from the Halo demo table and was like, what's going on here? I want in.
Oh yeah, there's the Mantic guys are great. You don't get many chances to hang out with all you, and once a year you got to make every chance you can get. You got to take everything you can get.
That's right. So what
Spoken
do you
like
think?
like a true athlete, like a post
right.
game interview. That was a perfect answer.
So what do you think led to your championship? Do you think you? You're what, 20 years old? You said.
Oh yeah, I've been training since 10 years old. I got up, rolled dice every day.
Yeah.
And
6-siders, 10-siders. Like what's the? Is there a mix or?
The answer's 8-siders because he won the Dead Zone event.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh my good. He's wearing his Adepticon medal the whole time.
It was a flex. It was
Everybody
a flex.
should have known this is a killer.
He had the Flava Flav chain on, just dunking on people and then banging them.
Yeah. And it wasn't even a competition, folks. Like, this guy won his first table handily, putting him into the finals. And then the finals, you got to win two games.
I'm not
two in a
sure
row.
I'd say handily. It was dramatic and it was prolonged.
I'm saying when Alex was on the table, nobody else won a game. I'm sorry, Jacob was on the table. Nobody else won a game.
That is a fact. That is a fact.
So, no, he's undefeated at
There
this
was
point.
drama, but then you squashed it.
I will give a shout out to Ben Stoddard for choking both games pretty hard.
In
but
epic fashion.
but-
Taking it down from like 6 or 7 dice down to 1 or 2 or none.
Yeah.
You just don't see that. You hate to see an implosion like that, but then good players, they step up to the plate.
capitalize on your opponent's mistakes, right?
If it wasn't for him, I might have won the game, but he lost it.
Absolutely.
And someone won, and, we have a new Tri-Wizard champion.
Yeah, I'll have to come back to defend this trophy next year.
100%. It will happen every year. This year we had officially 25 participants, which is half of the Kings Award tournament.
That is crazy.
Next year we're shooting for 50.
Yeah, absolutely. But, we had Dead Zone players. We had Halo players. I believe Kyle Poole paused his demo game to come and play in the Tri-Wizards Cup tournament, and all of his players are like, no, that's cool. We want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, go do that. What is this, by the way? Yeah, it was great.
So
there's hooping and hollering, back and forth.
Nothing quite like banging some dice.
I'd say it was a great success. So did you count your money yet?
No, you never count your profits.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there's the Gambler. That song's all about that.
Did you spend your money?
You got to know when to walk away.
Unfortunately, the fire sale's all fired out.
Yeah, what tournament are you going to go to now that you have all this flush cash?
Oh, I might just pay for food. I'm a college kid. I'm
Pay for
broke as it
food.
is.
All right.
That's a pretty good answer.
Yeah. Good answer.
Yeah, this is my weekly allowance right here.
Weekly? Oh, my God. We
my
played
goodness.
for $1, people. You can do the math, I think. So, although Kyle Przlinski threw $20 in and said, nah, I don't need change. Just the biggest flex I've seen in a Tri-Wizard tournament.
The second biggest flex after wearing your Adepticon medal the entire time. That's the biggest flex.
That's true.
There's only so many places you can wear this kind of thing, and this is you got to take every chance you can get. This is one of them.
Absolutely. So where can people follow Jacob, the Tri-Wizard Tournament champion, and how can they learn from your pathfinding ways here? You've blazed a path.
I don't know if anybody can truly follow in the epicness that you've set the standard that is your victory.
The dominant performance.
Just come out next year. Come play some Dead Zone. Come play against me. Come play some Strike.
Sounds a lot like a challenge.
So
yeah.
I'm going to make an official ruling right here, right now. The previous year's champion is automatically in the championship table.
Absolutely agree.
Everybody else has to have a play-in depending on how many people we have.
Absolutely agree.
But Jacob, you are in the championship table. You better be there next year.
I absolutely cannot wait. And hopefully I'll be able to bring up some of my friends. We're starting a Dead Zone club down at Florida State. So that's getting off to a good start.
Nice. So are you going to start a Triwizard Harry
Dice
Potter
game?
Strike Dice supplement game before and after? Just practice
what's
those
your
throws?
plan for the off season?
Oh, yeah. I got to get back there. Rolling dice. Like I said, ever since I was 10, D8s. Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it.
So you practice with D8s, but you came through today with effectively D6s that have funny little symbols on them. Yeah. So D6s seem to favor you. And it sounds like D8s are your friend too. So do you have a dice that maybe you don't like or maybe doesn't like you?
I've never been good with D10s. I played a lot of Armada. Came to the tournament.
All right.
Can't roll a single 10.
All right. How about your D&D experience? Do you roll those nat 20s?
Ooh, no, I'm a nat 1 guy for sure.
All right. So, folks, once we get past 8-sided dice, it sounds like Jacob isn't your man, but man, it's tough to bet against him if you're playing D8s, D6s. I don't know what else to say.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
We'll see you next year.
Can you give us always keep countercharging in a nice, deep, supple voice?
Yeah, get real close.
And remember to always keep countercharging.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Countercharge. Please let us know what you thought of the show by emailing us at counterchargepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at countercharge15, or by commenting on the Countercharge Kings of War podcast Facebook group. If you enjoy the show, you can help others find out about it by leaving positive reviews on iTunes. Until next time, keep countercharging. Music is a composition of Kevin MacLeod and is licensed under Creative Commons.